Here is my official Patreon. Please join it because there are many stuffs that I can't share here because of community guidelines. But on my Patreon page, you will get adult Harry stories, Naruto, and Deca 2. Also the quick access for other parts of my story which might take time on YouTube. Also, there are many stuffs you will get here. Please consider joining my Patreon. Link in the description. Hey family, welcome back to my video. Today we will see, what if Naruto was perv lust god of KONEKO? Before we start, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the original author of this story for granting us permission to use it in our YouTube video. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. The author's creation and the original story's link in the descriptions. Please do check that first. Now enjoy the video. Now, Shinero? Yeah. Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki finally land firm contact on their target, Kaguya Otsutsuki, the progenitor of all chakra. With the light sun and shadow crescent moon seals on her shoulders, Hagamoro, the sage of the six paths, initiates the ritual to once again to lock the moon rabbit in the aforementioned celestial body. However, as the seal halves join as one over the third eye on her forehead, something seems amiss. It feels just like before with Madara. Sasuke, with his left eye, sees the discrepancy. A limbo shadow. The Kaguya they are fighting is nothing more than a clone, much like the technique Madara's Rinnegan utilized. Sasuke immediately retracts his left hand to preserve his half-seal. Naruto, sensing the deception through his six paths sage chakra as well, pulls out while Sakura's powerful punch pummels her to the ground. Naruto, providing new discs onto which Sasuke and Sakura stand upon, redirects his attention back to the gigantic truth-seeking ball growing ever larger. If that sphere's growth goes unabated, there will be no stopping it once it passes a threshold. The birth of a new dimension is serious business. Suddenly, the entire space trembles as enormous cracks open up from below. From the fissures, more dense waves of chakra spew forth and further fuel the ball's growth. Naruto grit his teeth. This astronomical amount of chakra in combination with hers already seems limitless. However, where is all this chakra coming from? What he fears, only Sasuke confirms when they look eye to eye. This chakra comes from the people stuck in the infinite Tsukuyomi, and she's gathering much more than before. Kaguya is no longer holding back and indiscriminately sacrificing them to win this fight. Out of nowhere, an innumerable number of smoke poofs erupt and reveal an army of Kaguya's shadows. Every single one armed with bony protrusions. Sasuke and Kakashi immediately summon their respective perfect Susanoo and try to evade the onslaught, but the bone flood quickly pierces and overwhelms their Tengu-like avatars. Naruto covers Sakura with a wall of shadow clones, but that too easily collapses. He extends chakra arms to the other team's 7 members and syncs his chakra with that of Sasuke. Then the Uchiha instantaneously switches all 4 out of the spiky bone storm. Away from her wrath, they pant heavily while on guard for the next assault. What the hell? It's like she's fighting on a completely different level. Naruto whines aloud. He produced a regiment of shadow clones on standby. She's pulling out all the stops, and at the worst time, Kakashi analyzes. Naruto and Sasuke had too many close encounters so far, and that was when Kaguya wasn't using her full potential. Even with Obito's remaining 6 paths power from the pure world, these eyes will not last a prolonged fight. We need to find the original. Otherwise, we won't win. Sasuke outlines the goal, but easier said than done now. Get ready, Sakura announces, but most likely is unable to contribute any further. Kaguya's limbo shadows all pass through their respective dimensional holes. Without Naruto's sage sensory abilities or Sasuke's and Kakashi's eyes, Sakura is a sitting duck. The blonde transmigrant hovers next to her. A wormhole opens up right next to Sakura's head. Naruto notices right away and grabs the pink head around the waist. A bone spike narrowly misses her head. More and more dimensional holes pop up around the 4 shinobi and launch a deluge of bone spikes from all angles. Strangely, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Naruto's original body with Sakura seemingly dodge the attacks with ease. However, before they realize Kaguya's true intentions, Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi have been separated from each other. Kaguya's clones camp from outlying dimensions and, with relative safety, take shots at Team 7. With the time interval long since passed, Sasuke instantaneously switches with one of Naruto's clones and regroups with his two teammates. Kakashi uses Kamui, joins up with his students, and takes them to Obito's dimension to recoup while Kaguya easily butchers Naruto's clone army. Inside Obito's dimension, Team 7 receives a short reprieve again. Damn! Naruto curses. We can't get those clones when they are in other dimensions. Unbeknownst to them, Kaguya only has 5 dimensions linked to the one dimension that's closest to the shinobi world. Unlike before with Sasuke, Obito only had to link to one of Kaguya's dimensions. Kakashi points out a flaw Kaguya seems to have solved and effectively reduced the copy ninja's impact on the battle. Then we go each dimension and take them Kaguya's shadows one by one. Naruto proposes a solution. I don't have enough time with Obito's chakra to link the 4 of us to all dimensions. Kakashi stumps on the dilemma set before him. However, they must succeed. We just have to get to the real body and take her out. No shadow can support a ball of that magnitude, so the original must be there, Sasuke logically reasons, and they must operate fast before said ball reaches a size of no return. Okay, here's the plan. Kakashi gathers up his students before setting out to battle. Kaguya, holding up her ever-growing truth-seeking ball, remains on guard while growing her new dimension. That other ninja she dismissed at first seems to possess Obito's dimensional warping abilities. Obito could link to her dimensions, so she devises a way around it. Anytime now, they will warp behind her and attempt another strategy. The last one nearly did her in. She won't be so careless this time. A Kamui hole opens next to the goddess, and Sakura emerges from the warp in space. Right arm reared back, Sakura roars her habitual phrase as she readies her remaining chakra into a single point to release upon her target's face. Kaguya releases her hold on her orb and fires a bone spike at Sakura to her left. However, what she hit was not the Leaf Chunin, but another one of Azura Transmigrant's clones. Suddenly, another Kamui hole appears from behind Kaguya, and out comes Naruto. The disintegrating clones instantaneously switches with Sasuke such that she misses her interval between each bone spike. At this distance, this Kaguya has no time to react and escape into another dimension. Again, Kakashi's strategy seems to have overwhelmed the mother of all chakra. The transmigrants latch onto her and begin the sealing process, but again, she duped them with another limbo shadow. Naruto and Sasuke release their technique and quickly retreat a safe distance, but run into another flood of bone spikes from the shadows in the other 5 dimensions. Hey, what the hell just happened? Naruto shouts aloud while avoiding spikes incoming from all sides. I don't know. That should have been the real Kaguya. Sasuke answers back as wave after wave of bony spikes obliterate his giant target of a perfect Susanoo. Down below, a black, ethereal being giggles inwardly with a huge smirk on his face. Even though Naruto's rods impaled him to the ground, he can still open wormholes and aid his mother. When the transformed Sakura clone first attacked, Kaguya linked her teleportation abilities to Kakashi's Kamui, and at the same time, Kaguya's will, Black Zetsu, opened a portal for a limbo shadow to substitute with the original at the very moment Sasuke instantaneously switched with Naruto's deteriorating clone. The result: a complete counter to Kakashi's strategy. Not only that, she used Obito's method against the copy ninja. Naruto produces shadow clones to take a load off Sasuke's shoulders so that the Uchiha can preserve his left eye's technique to use at the last second. The situation clearly is out of hand. Kaguya utilizes her shadows better than Naruto's clone usage. Another Kamui hole opens in space and releases a very battered Sakura Haruno on the ground. Her teammates immediately notice her without their sensei. Fear etching into his brain, Naruto quickly darts out of the barrage and, at max speed, reaches his comrade in time to save her from impending doom. Creating another clone, Naruto allows Sasuke to switch positions with the new replica and join the other 2 remaining members of Team 7. Naruto and Sasuke flee as far as possible. Sakura, what happened? Where's Kakashi-sensei? Naruto questions his female teammate in his arms. Dazed, Sakura momentarily cannot finish her reply. Kaguya appeared in Obito's dimension and she held her head low as the reality seemed into Naruto as well, She got him so fast. So, she decided to take out the brains of the operations. Sasuke angrily glanced at, in his eyes, his completely useless teammate. Kakashi was actually useful to him, yet he used the last of Obito's chakra to save her. From the empty space before the trio, a segmented dimensional hole abruptly impedes their path. Their worst nightmare stands before them once again, Kaguya. Holding up her left hand, she does not erect a bony protrusion, but flexes her forearm muscles. Naruto and Sasuke feel an irresistible pull that lifts them off their feet and fly directly at the goddess. Instinctually recognizing the technique, Naruto extends a chakra arm, grabs Sasuke's shoulder, and the Uchiha instantaneously switches out of her jutsu. Sasuke drops them the farthest his technique's range allows. Goddamn, what are we going to do? Naruto whispers from their hiding spot amongst the debris out of Kaguya's Byakugan range. She's got us cornered, Sasuke reluctantly admits. Many possible scenarios run through his head, but against Kaguya's seemingly limitless abilities encompassing all possible shinobi bloodlines and her space-time ninjutsu, all seems futile. Although she uses primarily Kimimara's bone and the Hyugazai jutsu, she adjusts her tactics with Naruto's clone spam and Madara's limbo, but with much more precision than his knucklehead, former teammate. We can no longer engage her main body. The Uchiha retracts his previous decision that caused their sensei's supposed death. Naruto, you and I have to destroy the shadows the moment she opens a hole with her space-time technique. Attack with a projectile and destroy the shadows from this side. Just as Sasuke explains his strategy midway, a rift opens behind the weakest, quiet link of the three. Naruto, sensing the danger, knocks Sakura aside. However, a pale, white hand extending from the dimensional rift that missed Sakura fires a bone spike and slightly nicks Naruto's headband. His prized possession knocked off his forehead. He picks up the pink-hair Kunoichi in his arms, lifts Sasuke on a hover disc, and whisks them out of harm's range. Sasuke once again glares at his annoyingly incompetent teammate. Kaguya is targeting her and disrupting Naruto's and his team chemistry. At some point, they will have to ditch her. Suddenly, a warp in space opens before the fleeing trio, and a barrage of bones rains upon them. Enraged, Naruto extends a chakra arm from his back and creates a miniature tailed beast bomb Raisin Shuriken. Throwing the chakra arm with the spiraling bomb, he plows through the bones and thrusts the attack through the wormhole. Sasuke's plan succeeds on the first attempt as Naruto's attack demolishes a number of Kaguya shadows in another dimension. Shouting, "Hell yeah!" the fiery golden transmigrant awaits for Kaguya's next attack. Naruto creates another mass of clones, and they pause while on high alert. Anxiously, they wait, but nothing happens. Is she wasting their time while her truth-seeking ball grows past the threshold size of no return? If they go after the main body, then perhaps they may force her clones to intervene. Quickly revising their strategy, the two go head-on at the Moon Rabbit. Throwing Sakura over his back, Naruto invokes the strength of all the tailed beasts and the natural energy of the dimension. Wisps of all 5 elements circulate around the trio until it forms a protective sphere of wind, lightning, fire, earth, and water. Naruto's clones, flying around the sphere, create miniature tailed beast bomb Raisin Shurikens. Just as expected, Kaguya's shadows open and unleash a barrage of bone spikes which the two transmigrants capitalize upon. Naruto's clones throw their spiraling shuriken bombs and bulldoze through the onslaught. Sasuke partially summons Susanu's arm, uses the openings Naruto created, and fires an arrow rain precisely through her space-time dimensional holes. Successfully, they blow straight through the first wave. Eyes narrowing, Kaguya changes her strategy and pulls her remaining shadows back into this dimension to engage them directly. With a swarm of limbo shadows flying towards them, Naruto's clones meet them head-to-head. The taijutsu exchanges escalate into Naruto's clones, utilizing miniature tailed beast bombs at close range. The resulting explosions cover the sky with fuming smoke. Out of the gray, smoke cloud, Team 7, protected thanks to the blonde's elemental sphere, emerges with 9 shadow clones each wielding super-tailed beast Raisin Shurikens. Bypassing her limbo shadows, Kaguya, forced to fight, fires bone spikes that take out his clones, but not before they throw their elemental Raisin Shurikens. The 9 Raisin Shurikens converge onto the moon goddess, but she wields Preta Path and absorbs 5 of them. For shurikens, purposely thrown out of Preta Path's range, whisk past her and converge at a point on her opposite side. 2 of the 4 shurikens actually are transformed clones. Both grab hold of a Raisin Shuriken and hurl them back at Kaguya. With Preta Path, Kaguya absorbs the jutsu, a transformation jutsu. Her eyes widen as she realizes that the 2 Raisin Shurikens are transformed clones as well. A vice grip where Naruto's shadow clones pin her down from behind, while Naruto and Sasuke attack from the front. Naruto's 2 clones attempt to grab a hold of her. Kaguya recalls a similar tactic the 2 transmigrants used earlier, Sasuke's Rinnegan and his instantaneous switching ability exchanging positions between Naruto's clone and him. She cannot afford either one of them to touch her. With so little time, she is forced to use another one of her Rinnegan's abilities. Deva Path repels Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and 2 clones, but instead of 2 bursts, there are 5 bursts. All 5 are clones, she realizes. From below, numerous miniature tailed best bomb Raisin Shurikens and Susanoo arrows aim towards her. Earlier, when Naruto's clones engaged Kaguya's clones and exploded due to close-range tailed beast bombs, Naruto's remaining clones had acted as decoys while the original Team 7 used the makeshift smokescreen as cover and traveled underground. All of this occurred tactically outside her Byakugan's limit. Now unable to use Deva Path thanks to the 5-second interval, Kaguya must use Preta Path and absorb the incoming techniques. However, from very recent experiences, she infers that the incoming attacks are actually disguised clones. Instead, she counters with an array of bone spikes, but to her surprise, these attacks are legitimate and hit her head-on. Stunned, she does not see that the transmigrants' peripheral attack are the fakes and reveal themselves as Naruto and a clone. Sasuke quickly switches with the clone, and the 2 lunge out with their sun and half-moon seals at the ready. From below, still pinned into the ground, Kaguya's will witnesses his mother's imminent demise. He opens his own warp hole to transport her to a safe dimension. As her body crosses midway through the wormhole, something ejects her from the other side. Shocked, Kaguya's will watches with horror as Kakashi, the supposedly terminated copy ninja, knocks Kaguya back into the current dimension. With only 1 second left until her Deva Path becomes available, Kaguya snaps back to reality to see that she does not have even that minuscule amount of time as Naruto and Sasuke are mere centimeters from touching her. With her regular options limited, Kaguya resorts to another technique. Expelling chakra through her chakra points, she rapidly expands a chakra sphere and spins. Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi did not expect this last layer of defense and are blown away thanks to 8 trigrams palm rotation. Due to the little flaw in Team 7's plan, Kaguya's will, too, capitalizes on the reversal and opens a hole that connects to Sasuke's flying body. Because Sasuke's Rinnegan has a time limit as well, he cannot fully evade this next assault. With a swift, bony spike, Kaguya's will strike Sasuke's right hand. Shit! Sasuke curses as he could not completely twist his body out of the way. With thunderous impacts, the 3 male Team 7 members slam into the ground. Sasuke. Sakura, whom Sasuke landed close by, rushes to the Uchiha, but stares in disbelief as his right hand slowly deteriorates. No. Sasuke sharpens his left hand with lightning and slices off his own right hand. He cringes in pain as the shock runs through his weakened body. Sasuke! Naruto shouts as he drops in with Kakashi. Sakura and Sasuke notices that Obito's Mangekyo Sharingans are gone. When Kaguya linked her space-time technique with Kakashi's / Obito's Kamui, Kakashi quickly replaced himself with a shadow clone, used Kamui to send Sakura back to the present dimension, and replaced himself with the clone before Kaguya killed off the clone. Kakashi had noticed that Naruto's shadow clones who had died to Kaguya's bone jutsu disintegrated like a normal body, and used that characteristic of shadow clones to fool the rabbit goddess. Duping the progenitor of all chakra, Kakashi hid in and observed from Obito's dimension with only enough chakra for 1 more Kamui. Biding his time, Kakashi had faith in his students and attacked the moment Kaguya appeared weakest. Unfortunately, nothing went as planned. Kaguya, satisfied with the results, stumbles in midair since she used up a good deal of chakra in that last bout and supplementing her gargantuan truth-seeking ball's growth. However, in her eyes, she won. Ashura's transmigrant no longer has the ability to stand against her. Indra's transmigrant will, soon enough, succumb to her technique and die. Her new dimension nearly surpasses threshold. She descends down to her spawn and frees him from Naruto's staffs. Grinning happily, Kaguya's will rejoins his mother. Together, they fly towards the discombobulated Team 7 to finish the job. Damn it! Naruto curses as sends an army of clones to at least slow her down. But even with power from the Sage of the Six Paths, he's running low compared to Kaguya's level. He tries in vain to stop his transcended brother from falling apart, but the deterioration slowly reaches up Sasuke's right arm. Naruto? Sasuke mutters hesitantly as he diverts his sage powers to his crumbling arm and isolate the site. For the world, the Uchiha clan, my brother, you must win. Sakura, transplant my eyes and left arm to Naruto. But Sakura reluctantly freezes from Sasuke's demand. She feels a hand on her shoulder and turns around to see her sensei. There's no other option. Kakashi, internally frustrated and angered over his failure as a teacher to protect his student and comrade just as he failed Obito, Rin, and Minato, compels his Kunoichi student. We need the power of the Six Paths to have even a chance of winning now. Naruto? Yeah. Naruto, angrily clenching his left fist, readily and painfully grips his left arm right below the elbow joint. Sakura, breathing deeply, prepares herself for the most traumatic moment of her 17-year-old life so far, carving Sasuke Uchiha for body parts. Unfortunately, an operation of this magnitude may take up to half a day to complete properly. Sakura only has a few minutes. Tsunade's medical training races through her mind lightning quick as she focuses her last remaining chakra into a scalpel. Numbing the site, she begins the operation. With her expertise, she cuts through skin, fascia, muscle, vessels, nerves, bone, and finally through the entire appendage below the elbow joint. Immediately, she performs an identical procedure on Naruto, delicately transfers the limb, and attaches the foreign limb onto the blonde ninja. Grinding his teeth, Naruto's sage height senses feel Kaguya utterly decimating his last wave of clones. However, he's in no position to fight right now. Sakura, hurry it up. Naruto grits through his teeth. Not only is Kaguya on the way, the deterioration nearly reaches Sasuke's neck. He even voluntarily restricts his sage regeneration ability to allow Sakura to finish the on-field operation. Okay, done, Sakura, her sleeve wiping sweat off her brow, reattaches every communication between the arm and Naruto's body. Now, time for the eyes. Sakura, stealing her resolve once more, begins to sever the connections between Sasuke's eyes and associated nerves and muscles. Not a moment too soon, she isolates the Rinnegan and Sharingan before Sasuke can no longer ward off the deterioration of his head. Tears welling up in her eyes, she can only watch as her first love fades away. Handing over the eyes to Kakashi to hold, the medic ninja carefully carves out Naruto's bright blue eyes. The pain from the new arm and empty eye sockets blinds his senses as Kaguya rips open a path towards the desperate Team 7. With her attention directed towards Naruto's mass of clones, she did not notice their operation. Plowing through another wall of clones, the rabbit goddess jets towards them. With her own Sharingan, she sees Naruto's chakra color morphing drastically from yellow to purple. She precisely fires a bone spike at Ashura's transmigrant. Kakashi, vigilantly watching the surroundings, notices the incoming projectile. Sakura and Naruto, unable to sense or react to the attack due to the ongoing, delicate transplant, are unable to dodge. The former copy ninja, without any chakra left, uses his last resource to hopefully ensure the shinobi's and his last two students' futures. Stepping in front, the son of the White Fang sacrifices himself for his comrades. Just completing the procedure, the pink-hair medic ninja watches with wide eyes as the third human left crumbles before her. With a sad smile behind his mask, Kakashi makes eye contact with Sakura before his being turns to dust. Naruto, paralyzed with his newfound, opposite half of the sage's power coursing through chakra system, finally senses his sensei's life force disappear. Sakura, frozen in shock, sees their nemesis quickly reaching their position and, in a blink of an eye, she stands face to face with Kaguya. Even though she knows it's her end, she still rears back and attempts to knock the daylights out of her opponent. However, with no suitable defense, the medic ninja feels a quick stab through her abdomen. Without any Six Paths power in her, Sakura's body deteriorates faster. She feels a hand over her shoulder and strong life energy running into her, but it is all in vain. As with Obito before, Kaguya's technique is absolute. With her life flashing before her eyes, Sakura delivers all of her remaining 100 strengths jutsu chakra into the hand on her right shoulder. Tears running down her cheeks, Sakura utters one last word, "Win." "Yeah, I will." Naruto confirms her dying wish as he receives the last of her chakra. The medic's chakra in tune with his Six Paths Sage chakra quickly finalizes the cohesion between the two sages' halves. The shift in chakra disrupts his remaining clones, and they disappear. The last ninja and human alive, Naruto Uzumaki, stands before the progenitor of all chakra. When Sakura's body gives way, Naruto, completely enraged, with a right hook, punches Kaguya square in the jaw. His cloak undergoes a dramatic change. The once blazing, golden cloak, down to his hips, extends towards his ankles and turns pale white. His hair flares up further than before and reveals his forehead without the protector. Magatama symbols form a ring around the neckline underneath his high neck collar. His new cloak retains the Rinnegan symbols and 9 Magatama on the back, and the concentric circles on his shoulders. 6 truth-seeking balls hover like a halo behind him. In his right hand, Naruto forms a monk staff, Shikujo, with a full circle and 6 intertwined rings on one end, and a half-circle ring on the other end. Opening his new eyes and flexing his left arm, Naruto sets off for the final clash. "Naruto, can you hear me?" From inside his mind, a voice calls the newly born reincarnation of the Sage of the Six Paths. "Yeah, we hear you," Naruto, recognizing the voice, responds back from the tailed beast realm deep inside his mind. The blonde shinobi, with the 9-tailed beasts surrounding him in a circle, stands before his ancestor, Hagoromo Otsutsu. "I sensed the shift in chakra and nearly lost the link to Sasuke and you. But the connection is even stronger now such that I can speak to you across dimensions, but only you. Can I assume the worst?" The sage dreads the answer he already knows. "Yeah, Sasuke died. Sakura and Kakashi too. I failed them." Naruto gazed down at his feet and internally beat himself up. He promised that no one else would die, and yet, the entire shinobi world is essentially dead. "I see." Hagoromo, already prepared for the answer, puts aside his grief. Mother drained a significant portion of chakra from those trapped in the infinite Tsukuyomi. "How much?" Naruto looks up from his stupor and worriedly at his ancestor. It appears that she absorbed the chakra from those who possess a sizable amount. When those trapped in infinite Tsukuyomi transform into beings you call white Zetsu, it does not matter from whom they are derived from. To maximize her potential future army, she took chakra from smaller hidden villages and a portion of the 5 great hidden villages. She probably left civilians since they outnumber shinobi overall. Hagoromo analyzes the chakra he sensed draining from the tree and traveling across dimensions. Naruto looks hard at the ground once again. Even though he's not good with long sentences, he understands what the sage said. Not only had he failed his team, but there may not even be a shinobi system and structure left to rebuild when he beats Kaguya. However, this is not the time to dwell on such topics. How can we stop Kaguya from taking any more chakra? Naruto asks his senior since he's not as familiar with space-time techniques. The longer you fight, the more likely she'll draw upon chakra from the infinite Tsukuyomi. At this point, she just wants to win. If you can, try to use the seals, and I'll perform the technique. However, from your recent memories, Mother unleashed her own truth-seeking ball, and it's already too late to stop it from enveloping the dimension you're in, Hagoromo states a chilling observation. If Naruto does not die to Kaguya, he may die due to dimensional collapse. We can use that to our advantage. Between dimensions, there is a gap. Space-time techniques must transverse across this gap to connect the beginning and destination. With the former Kages from the Pure Realm, I had prepared a reverse summoning to retrieve the tailed beasts, your team, and you when you place the seals on Mother. However, circumstances have changed. The dimension you're in is closely connected to your home dimension, and that's how Mother can take chakra directly from the infinite Tsukuyami. I'll rework the seals to ensnare Mother and you in the gap, thereby cutting off Mother. If I trapped Mother alone in the gap, she would surely find a way to free herself. Though, this means you must perform the sealing on Mother on your own. I don't have a better plan. I'll trust you. We will find a way back. Believe in me. Naruto, full of confidence, pounds over his heart with his left fist. The tailed beasts grin. Even when everything is against him, he will never give up. I put my faith in you. Entrusted with the tailed beasts and both my son's chakra, Hagoromo smiles. Just as Gamamaru predicted, the child of prophecy will change the world. As Naruto's consciousness returns to his body, what seems an eternity passes only a few seconds outside his mind. He had just punched Kaguya away, and already she's almost at his position. The sage was right when he said his mother is no longer conserving her power. Naruto should at least attempt to seal Kaguya with the sun and moon seals before the truth-seeking ball annihilates this dimension. If the battle drags on too long and he runs out of time, he'll have to go with Hagoromo's backup plan. He feels an intensely familiar pull on his body, universal pull. Even Sasuke could not utilize the Rinnegan's path since he had just obtained it, and with Naruto's body not the original holder of these eyes or an Uchiha, Naruto can't fully rely on his new eyes. Though, with the Sharingan in his right eye, he can see every movement Kaguya makes. Combined with his six-path sage sensing abilities, he can predict her movements. Kaguya draws Naruto in and fires a barrage of bony spikes. In an instant, though, Naruto disappears. Her Byakugan loses sight of him before he reappears some distance away from her. Kaguya notices the change in the color of Naruto's chakra, pure white. It seems he has ascended past the two transmigrants when separate. Now, he resembles her own son. This further enrages Kaguya. Kaguya's will calms his mother, and they refocus on the current task. Kill and absorb the last human. She cannot use more limbo shadows at the level of chakra she's at, and jumping dimensions will further drain what chakra she has left. Close-range physical tactics are ill-advised, since he just needs to touch her to seal her. Therefore, until her truth-seeking ball devours this dimension and she automatically wins, she must either accelerate the orb's growth or sever those arms off his body. The bony spikes projected from her palms narrow and thin into sharp blades. Naruto also notices the gigantic size of the ball, indicating that he must seal Kaguya in the next few minutes, or else he resorts to Hagoromo's backup plan. The black orb demolishes the planet beneath it as the two stare each other down. Naruto charges head, on while Kaguya plays keep away. He fires his orbs and manipulates their shape into a net. Kaguya repels it with an almighty push before firing two bony blades aimed at his shoulder joints. His orbs quickly converging, Naruto shapes them into a shield that deflects the blades. She's not done yet and controls the spinning blades in midair. With a swift swing of an arm, she redirects the projectiles. Naruto senses them aiming for his back and flies away. The blades force him to increase the distance between Kaguya and him. Unwilling to waste any more chakra as well, Naruto shapes his chakra cloak into giant hands and punches through the blades. Briefly, he notices that the chakra appendages were his normal yellow chakra, but covered with purple chakra similar to Sasuke's Susanoo, reminiscent of when the Uchiha cloaked Kurama with Susanoo against Obito. With the ball growing exponentially, Kaguya decides if this battle continues as a stalemate, she'll eventually win. However, to ensure her victory, she cannot take further chances. She absorbs even more chakra from the infinite Tsukuyami, natural energy from the planet, underneath, and from her truth-seeking ball. Naruto senses the immense increase in her chakra levels from all three sources and rushes to intercept her. With a flick of a wrist, the moon rabbit repels Naruto away with an almighty push. Naruto cannot even get close to her anymore. This battle is all but lost. Kukaku, how does it feel? There's nothing else you can do. You're just like a Beto. Worthless trash, all alone, nothing left for you. You lost your loved ones, couldn't fulfill your dreams, and now you can just die. Kaguya's will gloats as victory is close at hand. Even though she absorbed a good chunk of chakra from the orb, the truth-seeking ball already passed the point of no return. Right now, it encroaches on their positions. The earth beneath them shatters. Nothing left but the orb remains. Time to go. Die. Naruto Uzumaki. Kaguya's will bids farewell. However, now, Naruto and Hagoromo initiate their secondary plan. As Kaguya opens a dimensional hole to escape this dimension's demise, Hagoromo activates his modified summoning jutsu. Using his mother's own space-time technique, the sage transports them into the aforementioned space known as the dimensional gap. There, Hagoromo locks his mother and his sons in the gap. With their chakra and time running out, the former Kages pulled from the pure realm evaporate, leaving behind the 4 reanimated Hokages and the sage alone in a completely empty realm, devoid of life except for branches imprisoning the world's population. I don't know what you may encounter there, but I know you will pull through somehow, Naruto Uzumaki. As if his entire body were stretching, Naruto never felt like this before. Somehow, he knocks his head on something hard. He is knocked out briefly before he opens his eyes. The darkness eventually gives way to a space with dazzling lights that remind Naruto of the night sky. At first, he thought he was seeing stars since he just hit his head, but realizes that his surroundings are real. He takes a breath, but there's no atmosphere. Quickly, Shikaka molds some wind chakra which Naruto breathes out, creates an oxygen layer around his head, and respires. Further taking in the quite beautifully endless void, he redirects his attention to a gigantic, freaking winged reptilian creature. Naruto also notices Kaguya, who arrived with him, cautiously observing this new, foreign creature before them. The crimson-red creature has a large horn projecting from its snout, enormous wings, muscular limbs, and proportional body. If Naruto has to guess, he would estimate the lizard to be around 100 meters, equal to that of a tailed beast. Its energy level, though tremendous equaling that of the Ten Tails, seems empty, completely void, almost as if its chakra were zero, an illusion, yet tangible. Who the damn hell hit me on the goddamn head? The giant lizard thing yelled loudly to the surprise of the 2 newcomers. You can talk? Naruto points at the tailed beast-sized reptile. He notices that the creature is actually speaking to him telepathically with an obnoxious, masculine voice. Hell yeah, I can talk. Who do you think I am? I'm the motherfucking dragon of dragons. The titanic being roars in his face once again. Geez, I probably must have hit you on the head. Sorry about that. The blonde reincarnation of the Sage of the 6 Paths sheepishly rubs the back of his head. He squints much like a fox smiling. If anything, this dragon thing comes off like some kind of bandit or yakuza with his tone of voice and speech pattern. The only dragons Naruto is aware of are long and slender, and that he has never met a real-life dragon before. Damn right, you better be sorry. And stop speaking all weird. What are ya, Japanese? That's some funny-ass Japanese you talkin'. The dragon lowers his head to look at Naruto eye to eye and squats down as if he were a gangster. What do you mean I'm speaking funny? Naruto shouts back at the beast. What's Japanese? I'm talking normally. If I'm speaking weirdly, then how do you understand me? How should I know? It shrugs nonchalantly. You talk like a Japanese, so I'm calling you Japanese. Got it? Yeah. Naruto waves him off. His attitude needs a serious makeover. All the while the 2 duked it out, Kaguya and her will watch silently. Seeing a brief opening, she uses Deva Path and unleashes an almighty push at the 2. Heightened senses warning him. Naruto knocks the gigantic reptile away with a chakra hand before the gravitational push blows him. The crimson monstrous dragon hadn't realized what happened until he sees Naruto's flying body spinning into the endless void that is the dimensional gap. Looking up, he concludes that woman was the one who tried to knock him out. She doesn't look so tough, but those eyes. He hates the way she looks at him with those 3 eyes. Those condescending eyes looking down on him as if he were an insect in the wind. Normally, he would not even care, but behind those eyes hold a power that rivals even his own. Also, it's not often that an individual would be able to cause him pain. Staring into her eyes, he, the embodiment of dreams and illusions, attempts to cast an illusion on her, except he realizes that it seems to have no effect. Further enraged, the dragon fires an enormous red beam at the moon rabbit, but finds out that his assault had no noticeable effects on her either. Growling angrily, it charges in head-on and quickly swipes at her with his tail, but his target is much faster than anticipated. A game of cat and mouse ensues as the giant dragon chases the speedier and smaller moon rabbit. However, out of nowhere, hundreds of giant fists pummel into him. Stunned, the crimson being does not notice a bone spike aimed right for his skull. Watch it. Naruto intercepts Kaguya's one-hit kill technique and knocks it away with his monk staff. The Six Paths Transmigrant unleashes a few shadow clones to keep her at bay. I didn't ask for your help. The dragon adamantly refuses to admit his weakness. I don't have time to argue over this. The original looks right dead in the dragon's eye. Yeah, got about the same eyes as her. The dragon narrows his eyes when he notices Naruto's newly transplanted optical organs. Look, this is my fight. I don't need to get you involved. Naruto counters. He, who had just lost his team, friends, and world, does not want to see any others die by Kaguya's hands. Well, that bitch just picked a fight with me too. The giant reptile has the last word and races off towards the battle between Kaguya and Naruto's clones. Kaguya had done a sufficient job at batting Naruto's clones away. With the sizable chakra boost the last dimension offered, the moon goddess still dominated the battle against the last shinobi. Suddenly, an enormous red beam blasts from a distance and consumes her, but as before, the attack has no effect. Slightly pestered, Kaguya abandons her bout versus the clones and attacks the dragon once more. Creating 4 limbo shadows, each one fires a barrage of giant fists at him. Having seen this technique before, the giant whizzes past the first round, but the sheer number overwhelms him and bounces him around like a pinball. Each impact upon his body breaks the dimensional fabric holding this space together. Cracks begin to appear in space. The original Naruto senses the collapse around him and rushes off to intercept the fight. Again, he rescues the dragon before Kaguya's bones end his existence and occupies her limbo shadows with his shadow clones. Again, irritated, the dragon resigns himself to the fact that he's not omnipotent. Hey! A new voice addresses the dragon mentally. You can talk telepathically? Surprised, the dragon asks. Suddenly, he finds himself not in the starry dimensional gap, but in a black space with golden-orange liquid beneath him. Before him stand 9 various creatures equal to him in size. Don't underestimate that brat's ability to form bonds with every being he meets. The giant fox with 9 tails jokingly mocks the much smaller blonde. Seems you can also connect the thoughts and dreams between different individuals. So Naruto here, with his natural affinity, simply tapped into that connection. A 9-tailed fox. The dragon observes the connection between this unknown person, whom he just learned is named Naruto, or Maelstrom, in Japanese mythos. Now, this fox is also talking this nonsensical form of Japanese as well. Look, we don't have much time. While we're talking, Naruto's out there fighting. Your attacks do not affect her because she uses light and shadow style. Only sage techniques utilizing natural energy can harm her. However, there's something unusual about your energy. Kurama informs the dragon the logic behind his futile attempts. Through Naruto's connection, the 9 of us, and he can sense that your energy is very much different from chakra. It feels empty, sort of, almost as if it were zero is the best way I can describe it. And what of it? The dragon, despising that fact that he must interact with these newbies, questions this fox to continue. Kaguya can absorb any form of chakra. Each time you attacked her, she could have taken your energy and easily gained the upper hand in this fight, but she didn't. We conclude that she cannot comprehend your energy. Kurama finishes his explanation. And what does any of this have to do with me? Growing impatient, the Crimson Being desires to return to battle and oust this Kaguya from his home. We are asking for your help this time. The 8-tentacle ox speaks up. Kaguya is essentially immortal. We cannot kill her, but Naruto can seal her. If this fight drags on for too long, he won't have the strength left to do so, and Kaguya will win. Even for the short time I have known Naruto, he deserves some closure in his life. You have the ability to link to Naruto's thoughts and dreams. Kurama will let you peer into Naruto's memories. Piquing his interest, the dragon decides to look into Naruto's life and history, starting with the death of his parents upon his birth. The loneliness that came with isolation from human interaction. The unbreakable will to strive past any obstacle. The hopelessness of losing his best friend. The sadness of losing his mentor and father figure when his own father was not there. The realization of the true state of his world when his home had been destroyed. The anguish of a war that embroiled an entire world. The bond between the nine-tailed beasts and him. The love of a woman who watched afar since his youth. The despair of losing everyone and everything he knew and loved. Finally, the solitude of the last of his kind. He, Naruto Uzumaki, stands before his world's darkest hour with unyielding determination and faith in his victory for all those who depend upon him. Heh, quite a brat you've got. Even he, the beast of the apocalypse, the dragon of dragons, the great red, feels moved by this seemingly inconsequential individual who led an entire race towards peace before it had been struck down. He has seen many heroes his in life, but not one can compare to Naruto. What's your answer? Gyuki, the Eight Tails, asks the red dragon. The situation I'm in, I'm gonna die at this rate, so I better get on the winning side, right? The dragon smirks. Kurama, Gyuki, and the other tailed beasts grin. Outside Naruto's mindscape, he continues to get both of his hands on Kaguya to initiate the seal. With Hagomoro trapping Kaguya and him in this dimensional gap, Hagomoro cannot perform the seal. So, it's up to Naruto. He has seen Nagato perform the hand seals to activate planetary devastation, and luckily there's enough material in this space to use for the technique. However, that's easier said than done. Kaguya does everything to avoid his hands, and won too many close calls where she could have ended him. Suddenly, another blast of energy breaks the stalemate between Kaguya and Naruto. The Great Dragon appears next to Naruto's side. They had a word with you? Naruto smirks while keeping his eyes on Kaguya and her limbo shadows. I'm doing this so that I can get back to flying free in my home. Got that? The dragon adamantly refuses to admit that he's helping of his own free will. What's your name? I'm called many things. Beast of the Apocalypse, Dragon of Dragons, but usually Great Red. All right, Great Red, sync with me. Naruto pounds his fist against Great Red's much larger claw. The blonde then syncs his chakra with Great Red's zero energy. The crimson dragon glows brightly before shrinking down to Naruto's size, and his entire body transforms into free-flowing energy that wraps around Naruto's body. The blonde's white chakra cloak compresses against his body while the new red energy forms a layer over his cloak. The viscous energy hardens and takes shape over his body. Kaguya covers her eyes when the light finally dies done. What she sees before defies even her imagination. Deep red metallic armor covers every part of Naruto's body. 6 truth-seeking balls hovering behind him while huge streaks of yellow and purple flaming. Electrical energy juts out from his back. In his right hand, he holds his monk's staff. Naruto glares directly into Kaguya's eyes before pulling down his helmet. This is it, Kaguya. The final battle. /n. Since I had some time, I decided to revise this section on background information. Thank you for those who have commented. However, information at face value without a source is not as strong as that with actual background. Yes, I have made mistakes regarding this section, but without an actual source, there was no way to correct it. So based on info in Volume 13 afterward, the real list, Ophis, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Sakra, Thor, Fenrir, Hades, Aten, and Luff. However, based on events, Ophis and Fenrir have been demoted. Super Devil Surzex, Ajuka, and Rizavim can be added to the list since Hades himself is wary of Surzek's true form. Of course, this being DxD and very much like religion, most things are exaggerated. Shiva is called the Destroyer who can annihilate the earth. Great Red is not on the list because, from the words of DxD author in Afterward Volume 13, it has not fought yet, except for Volume 12 when it empowers Issei and destroys Jabberwocky. The impact is said to wipe out a section of the underworld without a trace. Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch are also said to be able to destroy the world. The problem with DxD, it uses exaggerations, but does not substantiate it. The God of the Bible sealed the Trihexa 666 and then was taken out by the previous 4 Devil Kings. Yes, the former 4 were weaker than the current 4, but a weakened God of the Bible was able to take on 4 Devil Kings, divide the 2 heavenly dragons into sacred gears, and create Dimension Lost, Annihilation Maker, Zenith Tempest, and True Longinus? That puts the Judeo-Christian/Islamic God at least at Sakra's level after sealing Trihexa. Prior to that, God should be at least at Shiva's level. Even Rizavim, a super devil, is greatly impressed by God's ability to seal the Trihexa with thousands of seals. Emperor Juggernaut Overdrive and Cardinal Crimson Promotion, True Queen. These 2 are hard to rank because of their fault. Duration, Volume 17 Life 1 Part 2. Valley will pretty much crush anyone who cannot escape his technique, but after one use, Valley is completely vulnerable. Issei can use True Queen longer, but any being who can outlast the True Queen will defeat Issei. It is true that the amount of devastation in DxD is greater than that of Naruto until you start reaching 6 Paths Sage Mode, Rinnegan, Tensigen levels. A recurring argument for Naruto versus DxD is that Serafall can destroy Japan. If that is the case, then Japan has an area of 377,944 km². Tonari's beam saber length is the diameter of the moon. If Tonari were to slice off a portion of the Earth using that saber's length as a radius, the resulting cross-sectional area would be about 37,936,455 km². Splitting the Earth in half, the resulting cross-sectional area is about 127,516,117 km², about 4 times that of Tonari's area. Looking at the top 10 strongest beings in DxD, in Volume 12, Sakura is said to rival all 4 Devil Kings combined. Super Devil Surzex is 10 times the strength of the previous Lucifer. Based off calculations, Tonari is about 100 times the strength of Serafall and can use the beam saber, Golden Will Rebirth Explosion, multiple times. 19-year-old Naruto can run through the beam saber with a single hand. Hagamoro and Himura are stronger than their descendants. Kaguya is even more powerful than her sons. Shiva, currently the strongest of the top 10, is called the Destroyer. However, the amount of destruction Tonari can cause will destroy the Earth. Yes, the complete Ophis has a big gap in power compared to that of Shiva, but so do Kaguya, Hagamoro, and Himura compared to that of Tonari. Hagamoro, with Himura's aid initially, can create a moon-sized structure. In the series, Hagamoro by himself can create a new moon-sized structure. He can connect to the pure realm and drag back the chakra of deceased individuals to aid him. With shadow and light style, can create life from nothing. Annihilation Maker and Balance Breaker does create Jabberwocky and Bandersnatch, but at Hagamoro's level, he can deal with these 2. Himura's Tensigen powers the subworld inside the moon based off the movie and can pull the moon to the Earth. Kaguya is stronger than the 2 of them. Zenith Tempest can control the weather, but Kaguya can use the environment, land, air, and sea as her weapon. Kaguya, in Chapter 689, page 7, is going to create a new dimension with her truth-seeking ball. This dimension creation is way beyond the scope of Dimension Lost and its Balance Breaker. Just because Azazel says that it has the potential to move an entire country, it never happened in the light novel at the present time or in the past. Again, this is the problem with DxD. It exaggerates without substantiating its claims. Naruto, Tonari, Hagamoro, Himura, and Kaguya all can use the truth-seeking balls, which negates anything that does not utilize natural energy. The true Longia subspecies Balance Breaker has similar abilities to the truth-seeking balls, but the versatility of the orb's shapes and the speed at which they are used outclasses the top Longinus. Even though the truth idea has not been revealed, its usability is dependent on both the wielder and opponent. If Issei's will can overpower Cao Cao's will and prevent truth idea, any person ranking at 6 Paths Madara's level and above can overpower Cao Cao's will. Great Red slash 666 Trihexa, Kaguya Office, complete. Hagamoro slash Himura, The Last, Naruto slash The Last, Sasuke. Shiva slash Vishnu slash Brahma, Ashura Naruto slash Indra Sasuke slash Six Paths Madara slash Tensigan Tonari. Super Devil Surzex slash Ajuka slash Rise of M Sakura. Below is everyone else. Again, constructive criticisms are welcomed. Chrono Rise. Disclaimer. I do not own any part of the Naruto franchise or High School DxD. Warning. Spoilers for High School DxD past Volume 4. Read, review, and enjoy. Alright, Great Red, sync with me. Ride the Fire. Dragon Install theme. The Six Paths Incarnate pounds his fist with clawed wing of the Beast of the Apocalypse and synchronizes the Beast's zero energy to his own. The Crimson Dragon glows brightly before transforming into freely flowing energy which wraps around the blonde shinobi's body. Naruto's white chakra cloak compresses against his body, much like a skin-tight jumpsuit, and the new red energy layers over. Kaguya, the progenitor of chakra in the shinobi world, covers her three eyes as the entire process blinds her. Once the light subsides, she witnesses the union between beast and ninja. Dark crimson scales, overlapping one another, cover Naruto's appendages, while scale mail chest plate and shoulder pads armor his torso and pelvic areas. Jewels, alternating fiery yellowish gold and cold dark purple, adorns the dragon armor at the knees, elbows, chest, and back of his hand armor. Enormous streaks of reddish-orange fire and purple lightning emanate from his back. 6 truth-seeking orbs, in halo formation, hover behind him as well. In his right hand, Naruto holds the Shikujo, monk's staff. Finally, he dons a helmet resembling the dragon from which it is derived from. This is at Kaguya, the final battle. Naruto roars as he flips the face mask over exposed eyes. With a single, mighty swing of his staff, he throws a pulse of chakra that easily blows away the moon rabbit. This newfound power-up certainly has made its use known right off the bat. Forming his signature hand seal, Naruto summons an innumerable army of shadow clones decked out in the red dragon armor as well. The massive clone wave charges head-on at the momentarily dazed Kaguya. Regaining her footing, she unleashes her own technique, 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. A barrage of countless fists collides with the clone army, and each collision warps the space surrounding this epic battle. The original Naruto counters the chakra fists with his truth-seeking orbs and own chakra fists. The two clash against one another without either side letting up. However, the blonde shinobi perfectly negates the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, which allows his remaining clones to flank Kaguya from both sides. In an attempt to seal her once more, the clones use their overwhelming numbers and hurl a storm of black chakra rods that darken the starry dimensional gap. Unable to engage her foe from all directions with her current technique, Kaguya combines the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack with the 8 trigrams. Palm rotation, spinning at high speeds, her chakra fists, emanating in all directions, knock out the armored clones left and right of her position. A multitude of colors spew from each collision as if a supernova just exploded. The rotation also deflects the incoming rods attempting to seal her. The defeated clone army bursts into a large cloud of smoke. Fragments of the dimensional barrier upholding the spatial structure break apart after the large impacts. Yo, you want to finish this up quick, the Dragon of Dragons advises. From where I come from, there's another beast that rivals even me. 666 Trihexa. The longer this fight goes, this dimensional gap will collapse and break the many seals imprisoning the second beast. Great Red manages to say in a more comprehensible tone. Given the situation, Naruto reads that Great Red normally would not behave like this unless something serious is going to happen. Revelation 13 verses 1-2. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. He sounds like a big problem. This Trihexa is also as strong as you. Naruto mentally questions the first beast of the apocalypse synced with him. The dragon gravely nods. There are already 3 monstrosities fighting. Adding to the mix another contender of equal power will surely end all adjacent dimensions. That's not the only problem. Kurama butts into the conversation. I can sense this zero energy you synced with starting to affect you. Even with your immense life force and sage regeneration, you'll eventually be eaten away. Kurama's other half warns him. Naruto now fully realizes why Kaguya avoided making this energy her own. However, that's not the last issue. Naruto, Gyuki chimes in. Take a look at Kaguya. The blonde follows the Eight Tails instructions and uses his newfound Sharingan and Rinnegan eyes to visualize Kaguya's chakra. Something strange is definitely occurring. The color of her chakra, it's glowing brighter. Not only that, the chakra is brightest around her Byakugan. Naruto asks his roommates. Of all things, Kaguya seems to be building up chakra in her Byakugan, and not just any chakra. This chakra is enormously concentrated and bright, almost like an artificial sun. Whatever the reason may be, we must end this fight. Kurama reiterates once more, and Naruto could not agree more. Sage Art, Sticky Slime Field. Using the cloud of smoke as cover, Naruto inhales deeply. Saiken, the Six Tails, molds his chakra while Great Red feeds in his energy, which Naruto combines with the jutsu. He greatly expels the technique and entirely coats the spinning Kaguya with the sticky substance. The viscous, dull green liquid congeals around the rotation and quickly immobilizes her. The blonde notices that she is not absorbing the jutsu. Naruto can now effectively utilize his ninjutsu. Cutting the celebration short, the moon goddess unleashes an almighty push and repels the liquid, trapping her. The gravitational force blows the dragon-armored Naruto away. Sage Art, Monkey Flame Arson. Naruto quickly regains his footing and prepares his next jutsu. This time, Son Goku contributes with his chakra mixed with Great Red's energy. Instead of a short-range flamethrower, Naruto molds the technique into a gigantic green fireball. With ninjutsu at his disposal again, the blonde figures that a fiery ball the size of Konoha would force Kaguya to dodge since the 5-second interval for Almighty Push has not yet passed into the 8 trigrams. Palm rotation would be useless as well because the sheer volume, pressure, and heat generated from this ball of molten rock, mirroring the conditions deep within the Earth's core, will surely cook her alive. As expected, she evades the entire flaming sphere. Sage Art, Water Style, Great Water Mass Bullet. Sage Art, Boil Release, Unrivaled Strength. Sage Art, Haiden, Scaled Sneak Jutsu. Combining the attributes of three-tailed beasts, Isabu the 3 tails, Kokuo the 5 tails, and Chome the 7 tails, with Great Red's energy, Naruto spews an evaporated mixture of steam laced with insect dust. Using his previous technique as cover to keep himself out of her Byakugan's field of vision, Naruto catches her by surprise. Thanks to Shikaku's strategy against the 10 tails, Naruto is able to momentarily block all of Kaguya's senses. Of course, with Kaguya's 80 Gods vacuum attack, she easily blows away the steamy cover, but gives him just enough time to unleash his next strategy. Sage Art, Grand Sand Mausoleum Seal. Sage Art, Mouse Hairball. Sage Art, Sealing Technique. Octopus Hold. Naruto again combines the distinct attributes of 3 more tailed beasts at his disposal, Shikaku, Matatabi, and Gyuki, to produce a massively astronomical, innumerable amount of blue, flaming mouse-shaped hairballs, imbued with both sand and ink sealing techniques. With a mighty charge, the darkening ocean of fiery mice overrun Kaguya. She valiantly attempts to stay them off with an almighty push, but as Naruto learned in his battle against Pain, that technique has limits in both recovery and duration. The sheer multitude of mice overwhelms the almighty push. Kaguya rotates quickly in a desperate attempt to defuse Naruto's strategy. The mice, like suicide bombers, slam right into the dense chakra dome and release their contents similar to Saiken slime. The sealing sand particles and ink spin around the Hyuga's absolute defense. The sand forms a pyramidal layer over the spinning sphere and ensnares the moon goddess. Finally, the ink, controlled by Gyuki, inscribes the sealing kanji and locks in the rabbit. Take this, you bastard! Planetary devastation. Naruto clasps his hands together. Finally getting accustomed to these new eyes, he mimics the grand and ultimate techniques he has witnessed and experienced several times. The entire dimensional gap trembles. The ground fragments and levitates in space. Pieces of the dimensional barrier also fly towards the soon-to-be core that is Kaguya's seal. Whatever material that's around, the desperately exhausted blonde shinobi constructs a sealing stone rivaling the size of an elemental nation and continues to grow even larger. Now time to free you all, Naruto murmurs. The energy radiating from his back coalesces into 9 tails and attached to the sealing stone. Once the tails reaches the core, the tug-of-war game begins once again. However, Kukuku, the time has finally come. Tensigen, Reincarnation Eye, activate. Black Onslaught 2, Unlimited Ragna's theme. The sealing stone shakes, begins to crumble, and breaks the connection between Naruto and the tailed beasts inside. Then 10 hands, one by one, followed by 4 appendages, extrude out of the rocky prison. Finally, the entire structure explodes and shatters apart, spewing material in all directions. Like a beast awakening from deep slumber, the reborn Ten-Tail stretches and roars to the heavens. However, this monstrosity is not the one Naruto's familiar with. Instead of a weirdly deformed Cyclops, what he sees instead is an anthropomorphic Legomorph, white fiery chakra cloak wrapped around it, with the Rinnegan centered in its forehead. That's not what grabs his attention the most. Its new eyes are not the familiar Byakugan, but something entirely new. Instead of white eyes, blue pupils surrounded by a blue and white flower-like irises replace the Byakugan. What's going on? Naruto shouts aloud as the beast's roars knock him away. She's gone into tailed beast mode. Kurama answers the panicking Jinchuriki. Those eyes must be what we noticed earlier, but this is something we tailed beasts have never encountered. Did the Byakugan always have the ability to evolve? Even the mighty 9-tailed beasts feel fear creeping up their bodies as the newly formed 10-tailed rabbit stares Naruto down with both the Rinnegan and Tensigen. On top of Kaguya's tailed beast mode, in between her 3 eyes, Kaguya's will, formerly known as Black Zetsu, chuckles in glee. That was certainly a close call earlier when Naruto nearly sealed his mother. I've always had a hunch about the Byakugan. Even though Hamura went to the moon to guard the Geto Mazo, I've also watched over the Hyuga to see if the Byakugan had the ability to transcend into something greater. Unlike the Sharingan, the Byakugan was not necessary to revive Mother. It certainly helped a lot. Their combined strength forced Mother to conserve enough chakra to activate our trump card. Sacrificing every single member of the Hyuga clan when Mother absorbed chakra from the Divine Tree was the catalyst for Mother's Byakugan to evolve to the Tensigen. Now, feel its wrath. Utilizing the debris that attempted to seal her, the 10-tailed rabbit, with a simple thought, molds them into a ring of asteroids around her body. With a mighty roar that further shatters the sanctity of the dimensional gap, Kaguya unleashes a fury of rocks the size of the 5 hidden villages at Naruto. The blonde, with speeds faster than that of his father, tries his best to dodge the incoming celestial bodies. However, the village-sized boulders stopped in midair. Naruto notices that this type of gravitational control is not like the Rinnegan's control or particle style. The Tensigen's gravitational control seems to be freely able to move objects without duration or recovery. The asteroids then bombard him from all directions. Even the speeds at which Naruto can dodge the incoming projectiles and destroy them with a single punch, there are far too many for him to counter. Seeing her prey preoccupied, Kaguya transforms her arm-like tails into dragon heads and aims each one at Naruto. With her mouth in the middle, she positions her 10 dragon heads in a circle around her mouth. Much like an amplifier, the 10 dragon heads charge enormously huge tailed beast bombs which combine with the tailed beast bomb right in the middle of the dish. The tailed beast bomb expands to the size of the whole 10-tailed rabbit's body before contracting into a bite-sized morsel. Briefly swallowing the bomb, Kaguya then fires the highly condensed ball as a beam, enveloping everything in its path. Even the village-sized rock bodies seem puny compared to her attack. Oh shit! With no way to avoid an attack on such a scale, Naruto reactively summons his truth-seeking orbs and molds them into a shield. The incoming beam decimates everything in its wake before swallowing Naruto's shield whole. The energy decimates the landscape within the dimensional gap till it's nothing more than floating debris in space. Out of the floating rubus, Naruto remains standing, albeit hunched over and breathing heavily. That blast obliterated his truth-seeking ball shield and much of the dragon armor weakly hanging on his body. Blood drips from the sides of his mouth. Naruto, Kurama calls out to the exhausted shinobi, "You must separate from the dragon." That last attack weakened you to the extent that your regeneration cannot recover from both the deterioration and your injuries. The Ninetales, concerned over his Jinchuriki's condition, warns the blonde, "I'm alright. Just got to find a way to buy some time. I'm going to need to absorb more natural energy. The tailed beast chakra I pulled from Kaguya is not enough." Naruto responds and quickly thinks of a possible way out of this seemingly impossible situation, facing down the Ten Tails with the two strongest eye techniques known to his world. "I can do that. She's just the right size for me now." Great Red smirks and detaches from Naruto. Reforming his body, the crimson-colored dragon roars loudly and charges head-on into the tin-tailed rabbit. Meanwhile, Naruto assumes a meditative stance. The dragon races up the much larger beast until he reaches the creature's head. He notices, pitted in the middle of the three eyes, the being that orchestrated the history of the shinobi world since the death of the Sage of the Six Paths. Assuming that's the weak point, Great Red conjures an energy ball much like a tailed beast bomb and fires it at Kaguya's will. Noticing the trajectory, the chakra cloak surrounding Kaguya's tailed beast mode ignites and catches the blast before tossing it aside. Growling, Great Red circles her entire body and continuously fires an energy beam. However, it does not penetrate the white chakra cloak the Tensigen produced. Irritated, Kaguya uses the Tensigen's gravity abilities and blows away the dragon. Then, one of her tails whips around and ensnares the dragon of the apocalypse. Kaguya prepares her own tailed beast bomb, ready to obliterate this nuisance. Sage Art, Super Tailed Beast Bomb Raisin Shuriken. Sage Art, Wind Style, Massive Raisin Shuriken. Dual spiraling shurikens of yin and yang chakra slice through the tail and knocks the ten-tailed rabbit's head such that it deflected the path of her tailed beast bomb. Thanks to Six Paths chakra, Naruto was able to gather a much greater volume of natural energy at an incredibly fast rate. Leading the cavalry is a three-headed, six-armed Kurama, followed by the 8 other tailed beasts engaged in Naruto's chakra mode as well. Thanks, Naruto, riding on Kurama's head, and the other tailed beasts join up with the Crimson Dragon, for buying enough time. "I had that under control," Great Red thanks begrudgingly. Together they face down the almighty tin-tailed moon rabbit. "Whatever," Naruto jokingly waves off the gigantic apocalyptic dragon. "Okay, let's go." Sage Art, Tailed Beast Bomb Raisin Shuriken Barrage. Combining their respective attributes to Naruto's upgraded version of his signature attack and Great Red's energy distributed amongst the 8 other tailed beasts, they fire a continuous onslaught from all sides of the monstrous rabbit. In response, 8 of Kaguya's dragon-headed tails attack the tailed beasts. The red dragon flies ahead and preoccupies the last tail. Sage Art, Shadow and Light Style, Supermassive Tailed Beast Bomb Raisin Shuriken. Naruto and Kurama form 2 Raisin Shurikens, one composed of Yin Chakra and the other Yang Chakra. They combine the 2 polar opposites and Great Red's energy into a single, enormous Raisin Shuriken and hurl it. Kaguya's will notices the incoming dangerously large energy ball. Silver Wheel Reincarnation Explosion. Kaguya summons her own 6 truth-seeking orbs, energizes them with the Tensigen, and unleashes a hurricane of silver energy. The new technique easily repels the incoming spiraling shuriken and sends it back. Naruto, the tailed beasts, and Great Red hurriedly dodge the returned Raisin Shuriken as it explodes far into the distance. "We are not going to win at this rate." Kurama grits his teeth. Everything they've done so far has been futile in the face of omnipotent power. Is Kaguya truly immortal? Not yet, we're not done. Naruto shouts to raise the morale. Sorero Days, Tenjin Tapa Gurin Lagan OST. Taking control of Kurama's chakra mode, Naruto extends all 9 tails, and embeds them into the other tailed beast's chakra modes in Great Red. With a great shout towards the heavens, he reels in all the beasts together into Kurama's chakra with Great Red forming a dragon armor over the fox's body. Then, the enormous amount of chakra explodes and ejects the armor before devouring Great Red. The collaboration of all the energies grows widely and enlarges into a deformed humanoid figure to a size rivaling that of Kaguya, tailed beast mode. Naruto, Great Red, this time, is the one to respond to the shinobi. You're increasing our synchronization rate to nearly 100%. You can't maintain all this energy in your current state unless you plan on dying. Watch me. Naruto grits out between his teeth. Suddenly, there's a burning sensation in his eyes. At first, he believes that these eyes are rejecting him due to the surge in energy. Instead, dark purple chakra explodes from his being and engulfs the golden yellow and red chaotic energy. It's then Naruto realized that, in his heart, Team 7 still lives on, and this is the manifestation of their bond that transcends space and time. Susanoo. The purple chakra takes on the form of a humanoid armor. The mass of chakra that is a mixture of Naruto, tailed beasts, and Great Red enter the new container and awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan's greatest technique. All the energies melds together into a chakra avatar, influenced by Ashura's and Indra's will, equal in size to Kaguya. It wears the Susanoo-like armor and has 3 dragon-shaped heads with Tengu-like masks, 6 arms, digitigrade feet, and 9 tails form. Radiating from its back, the golden yellow energy forms a halo. 9 light and shadow-tailed beast raisin shurikens form a concentric circle along the halo. The truth-seeking orbs come together, and from the double helix spear, sword of Nunaboko, wielded in his right hand. In his left, Naruto wields a cross-hatchet shield. Right in the forehead of the central head, Naruto commands the mighty chakra entity from within a pentagonal shell. What's this? You had this much chakra left? Taken aback by such a devastating display of power, Kaguya's will exclaims with shock at how many times Naruto has turned the table on him. Eat this. The history of the shinobi world. The new chakra avatar charges head-on and with a single swipe of the world-creating blade, knocks back the equally large, ten-tailed rabbit. Regaining her footing, Kaguya angrily narrows her eyes at his descendant's persistent will to never give up even in most dire of circumstances. Golden Wheel Reincarnation Explosion. Reorganizing her own truth-seeking balls, she unleashes another Tensigan-exclusive technique. The orbs glow bright white and transform into an enormous golden beam saber with enough power to completely carve up a moon-sized celestial body. The two duel head-on with a sword fight of astronomical proportions. The sword of Nunaboko clashes with the golden wheel beam saber. Back and forth, neither side let up in their assaults. Kaguya's 10 dragon-headed tails lock onto the target and launch a barrage of tailed beast bombs. Naruto's avatar deflects the incoming blasts with the shield in his left hand, but that diversion allows Kaguya to approach him from behind. With a mighty slash, she slices off 3 tails. Lucky for Naruto, his avatar did not take further damage as he dodges the next strike. Regenerating the lost tails, he grabs one raisin shuriken from his halo with each of his tails. He, then, extends his tails and whips the raisin shurikens around like buzz saws. Though they don't penetrate her chakra cloak, each impact breaks through her defenses. Not to waste an opportunity, Naruto deploys a rapid combination of sword slashes which actually cuts off Kaguya's right arm wielding the golden beam saber. With his free hands and tails, he locks down all of her appendages. This is it. With the sun and crescent moon seals at the ready, Naruto jumps out of the pentagonal cockpit towards the pinned-down ten-tailed rabbit. This time, Kaguya has no more cards left to play if this attempt succeeds. Almighty push. The progenitor activates the other omnipotent eye and repels Naruto and his chakra avatar. Once freed, she regenerates the lost limb and redeploys the golden wheel reincarnation explosion. Damn it! Naruto swears as the chakra avatar catches him in the pentagonal cockpit. Ack! He coughs and vomits out blood. Trickles of blood seep from his eyes and left arm as well. 100% synchronization is eroding your body faster than your regeneration, Great Red warns. Either this stalemate will kill you, or we separate, and that bitch tears us apart individually. Then we better end this here and now. The blonde grits through his teeth as he wipes blood off around his mouth with his sleeve. Betting everything on one final attack, Naruto manipulates the sword of Nunaboko and shield into a black bow. The halo of energy hovering behind the chakra avatar warps into an arrow which Naruto grabs a hold of and places over the bow. Signaling his desperation, the avatar's tails and spare arms retract into the body. The arrow brightly glows golden yellow and purple with a tinge of crimson. Willing to risk it on one attack? As if mother will let you, Kaguya's will sneers as the tin-tailed rabbit rapidly moves side to side. Her evasive maneuvers made it increasingly difficult to lock onto her. Suddenly, she's right up in Naruto's face and, with her golden wheel reincarnation explosion, nearly decapitates the chakra avatar had Naruto not ducked. However, before Naruto can shoot, Kaguya increases the distance from him and zigzags around him. I can't get a clean shot, Naruto worriedly tells himself as he evades another swing, this time at the arms holding the arrow. However, unbeknownst to the combatants, an array of black, slithering, and writhing serpents erupts and constricts the mobile rabbit. Kaguya, entirely focused on the battle before her, failed to notice whoever set this trap. Before the moon goddess uses another almighty push to free herself, the snakes momentarily immobilize the moon rabbit's side-to-side motions just long enough to allow Naruto to lock onto his target. Whoever you are, thank you. Indra's arrow, placing the hopes, dreams, and future of the shinobi world into one final attack. Naruto releases the arrow concentrated with all of his remaining power. As the arrow flies at immeasurable speeds, his chakra avatar and truth, seeking balls begin to dissolve. Unable to move in time, Kaguya helplessly gaps in sheer shock as the arrow decimates her tailed beast form's entire left half from the neck down and her tails. Her Tenseigans chakra mode and tailed beast form dissipates and leaves behind a very weakened Kaguya Otsutsuki with her Rinnegan third eye closed. Naruto, with only enough chakra to perform the sealing, staggers in mid-flight. End this fight once and for all. On his head, Great Red props the half-dead shinobi and carries him the distance until Naruto jumps off. Finally, his hands grasp Kaguya's shoulders. Planetary devastation. Releasing Kaguya Otsutsuki, Naruto unleashes the seals embedded in his hands. With the first part down, there's only one more part to finish. Hands firmly clasped together, he attempts to retrieve the tailed beast's remaining chakras. However, they're not responding to him. In fact, he can't hear Kurama and the others that were already inside him. His chakra mode dissolves, and with it the layer of air keeping him alive. Without air or chakra left, Naruto's body quickly falls apart. Ironic, in the background, a gigantic sealing stone the size of the moon is forming, while in the foreground lies the almost dead embodiment of the shinobi world's hopes and dreams. Please guard the stone. Before he mentally blacks out, Naruto telepathically makes one last request to the dragon. Great Red is about to intervene when suddenly a snake dives down Naruto's mouth, while other serpents wrap around him like a cocoon. So, you were the one. Great Red glares upon a seemingly young girl. How unusual of you to speak without that gruff language and accent. The battle must have taken a lot out of you. The little girl nonchalantly addresses her nemesis. She appears as a small human child wearing Gothic Lolita-style attire, simply covering her chest with two X-shaped black markings over her nipples, long black hair reaching down to her hips and gray irises, pale skin, cold gray eyes. She brings Naruto's body to her side. What reason do you have to come to my aid? Great Red questions her intent. This would be a perfect opportunity for her to possibly end him, given his weakened state. Perhaps you were entirely focused on the battle that you disregarded your surroundings. The dimensional gap is on the brink of collapsing. If you and I do battle now, the fabric holding this space will surely fall. The seemingly little girl responds with a sound argument. She still views this as her home, no matter how torn up it is. Let the factions repair the damage. What of him? The Crimson Dragon points out the cocooned Naruto. You shall find out one day, the girl answers with a mask-like face. You plan on recruiting this child? Good luck with that. The dragon of the apocalypse smirks. He will surprise you. With that last warning, the little girl warps away with Naruto. Alone, the Great Red stands upon the new moon-sized sealing stone. At the Grigori Research Institute, fallen angel scientists remain frozen in shock and awe at the epic battle each of them just witnessed. Never before had their world been so close to the brink of destruction. The barrier between the underworld, heaven, and the dimensional gap collapsed, and right now, all three factions, who were once at odds with one another, are in an uneasy truce to make sure their worlds do not fall apart. So far, the dimensional gap has been stabilized. However, the fallout of that clash obliterated all measurements, and because of this, all visual records of the event are fuzzy and broken at best. Shimhazai, Vice Governor General of the Fallen Angels, breaks out of his daze and tries to re-establish connection. Surzex Lucifer, Archangel Michael, can you hear me? Shemhazai calls over the intercom. Seriously, where is Azazel, the governor, general and leader of the fallen angels, at a time like this? Yes, I hear you, one voice responds. And I as well, a more heavenly-sounding voice responds as well. That last impact overloaded most of the equipment. I'm glad that at least communication is still functional. The fallen angels second in. Command breathes deeply. Amusing. To think that it required a crisis of this magnitude to get the three great powers to work together. It's not a bad feeling, Surzex chimes in. This handsome, seemingly young adult-looking man has bright, crimson hair whose bangs and sideburns cover his forehead. The last time that occurred was when the two heavenly dragons went berserk, but this battle is on a completely different scale compared to that, Michael adds in with his comment. For now, the Grigori will monitor the situation and continue with the repairs. Serious as usual, Shemhazai breaks the tangent between his two adversaries. As will the angels, Michael agrees with the plan. We, devils, will aid the fallen angels as well. Surzex lends his support. We'll keep in contact. Shemhazai out. He disconnects and sighs heavily. Working with the angels and devils will not be easy. There are still those who remember the Great War between the three Judeo-Christian factions and hold deep grudges. Even he bears anger and hatred towards the other two races. Despite that, he married a devil woman. Perhaps an alliance may work after all. Naruto's consciousness wakes up in cold sweat. Around him is the familiar sewer where Kurama once dwelled. Wading through ankle-high water, he finds no sign of the giant fox, or any trace of the tailed beasts for that matter. Along the way, he passes through the empty space that imprisoned his friend for 16 years. Smiling sadly, Naruto feels incomplete without said fox. However, something red seeps into the water from Kurama's old container, but it's not the fox's unfiltered malevolent chakra. He has felt this energy before. When he peers inside, Naruto sees a gaseous masses of pure energies mixing together. One of which feels familiar, the zero energy that even his sage regeneration abilities had difficulty coping with, and the other energy feels completely foreign. It seems to stretch to infinity. Zero to infinity, the two polar opposites are chaotically in balance. If he had to guess, this unknown energy prevents Great Red's energy from eroding his mind and body. An old idea coming back to him, Naruto cranks the 8 trigram seal on his stomach right. A number of tori fall from the black ceiling above and circle around the mixed mass of energy. He once used this seal on Kurama right after he subjugated a portion of the fox's chakra. The gaseous mass condenses into a spherical ball of writhing red and dark purple energies. Then, Naruto shut the gates, sealing away the energies for now. Suddenly, it feels as if a huge burden is taken off his shoulders. Coming back to reality, Naruto lays on a blank white bed in an empty room. All four sides, solid concrete, produces a sense of solitude. Probing his surroundings with what little chakra he has, he notices that his eyes are wrapped, and his entire body is completely numb. Recalling the most recent events, he realizes that he should have died from no air and complete chakra exhaustion. He feels like he's on a hospital bed in 4 bags, injecting various nutrients, electrolytes, and fluids into him only add to the atmosphere. However, when he attempts to shift his body, Naruto feels a weight lying on top of him. Whatever it is, it feels soft, warm, and smooth through the bandages wrapped around his torso. Unable to contain his distress, he wriggles underneath the weight. Had a nice sleep, little boy, meow? An unfamiliar, feminine voice coos into his ear. Her sensual voice and sweet pheromones fills all Naruto's senses. His lack of body control renders him helpless to her wiles as she grinds into his waist. Kuroka, are you done with your new boy toy? Another voice, male this time, jokingly calls out to this woman, Kuroka, on top of him. Pouting, the female slips off his body and out of the sheets covering him. Where am I? Naruto weakly requests from the bed. Turning his head sideways, he senses the presences of 5 individuals in the room with him. There's a brief pause before someone answers back. So, you're finally awake. Unfortunately, we cannot give out that information. You are in good hands, though. Another male voice responds to his question. His voice sounds deep, serious, brief, and straight to the point. The dragon god, here, retrieved you from the dimensional gap after your battle with whatever you fought against. I, as the leader of this group, would like to thank you. You confirmed Great Red's existence, the one I desire to defeat. A third male voice, smooth and deep, updates Naruto on his situation. These people did not give him a straight answer, though. Like a prisoner taken for interrogation at an undisclosed location, Naruto is immediately tense and on edge, but in his condition, he's in no position to defend himself. To his surprise, he feels familiar natural energy running through his chakra coils. Someone had been transferring natural energy into his body while he was asleep. The woman, Kuroka, was she the one? There's something else as well, deep in his gut that makes him uneasy and queasy. Dragon God? Naruto, half asleep, asks no one in particular. Increasing his probe's range, he senses their distinctively non-human auras. He can't exactly classify their energies as human chakras. With sage arts, he can see the aura's silhouette around their bodies. Kuroka, who straddled his waist earlier, wears a kimono. An obi wraps around her waist, beads, and a headband. He notices that her attire barely hangs over her rather large bust, not at Granny Tsunade's level, but still much bigger than average. The guy next to her wears armor covering his torso down to his navel, shoulder and hap pads, forearm and shin guards, and wields a staff. The third individual has a business hat and trench coat. The texture of his aura reminds Naruto of Shino. He probably was the third voice he heard earlier. The last male in the room wears a long-sleeved light jacket, chain pants, and leggings. So a pretty boy? Finally, Naruto focuses upon the last individual who has yet to speak a single word. Although its form is that of a little girl, Naruto presumes based off the shape of her aura, it definitely is not what it seems. Rather, its aura feels like the other aura inside his subconscious alongside that of Great Red's. You and I, we can kill Great Red, the dragon god stated nonchalantly. Everyone in the room except the pretty boy widened their eyes at her declaration. It's not often the quiet, emotionless dragon god dramatically requests a favor. Though, what hell, and they witnessed not too long ago, it's certainly within the realm the possibility to topple the dragon mentioned in the Book of Revelations. Your aura feels like a little girl, but you're no child. You're the dragon god? Naruto asks the gothic child sitting upon a stool in the middle of the crammed room. Although silent, her nod answers his question. I'm guessing you're the one who saved me, right? The bedridden shinobi asks her once more. Again, her nod confirms his suspicions. Why do you want to kill Great Red? It invaded my home. I desire silence. I want to kill Great Red, she declares monotonously. Even Naruto's silent at how blunt she is. The other persons in the room, aside from the leader, remain quiet throughout the conversation. Sorry, but I can't go along with that. Naruto rejects the little girl's request. That Great Red is seriously strong. It's doing something very, very important for me, so I won't try to kill him, he answers seriously. Fighting in the Fourth Shinobi World War with no rest for several days and nearly dying really took a toll on him. He hasn't felt this exhausted since his first duel against Nagato when he manipulated the pain bodies. Okay, you won't cooperate with the dragon god. The pretty boy ends the discussion abruptly. Perhaps a woman's touch is necessary, meow, Kuroka suggests coyly. She strides up to Naruto and purrs sweetly into his ear. He blushes heavily as the black cat rubs her cheek against his whiskered cheeks. His face goes full-blown Kushina hair red once she whispers something extremely naughty into his ear. Even with his denseness, Naruto knows full well the effects women have on men. He spent 2.5 years of his life with the biggest perv known to his world. Kuroka, the more you do that, the more likely he'll pass out again. Pretty boy commands his subordinate. Pouting, she leaves the boy's side. Naruto calms down his heavy and quick breaths. Just turned 17 years of age, yet he's still unable to handle women. He frowns inwardly at the thought of this. Why am I here? How long have I been here? Who are you? Naruto, this time, poses the questions to his captors. In his current condition, his eyes are useless and only his right arm feels functional. His chakra levels are severely depleted. He can't feel the 9 beasts within his body. Just under 2 weeks, the serious one in a trench coat answers. The dragon god rescued you about 2 weeks ago. You had been in a coma since you've arrived. Had it not been for Kuroka or the dragon god, you'd have surely perished. Your eyes bled profusely as well as your left arm. The skin tone is paler than the rest of your body. Whatever the reason may be for the transplant, but whoever did the operation haphazardly left if unfinished. Your immune system was rejecting that arm. The Shino look-alike sums up quickly. The news makes Naruto very uneasy. The wriggling in his stomach continues to build up until he can no longer contain his queasiness. He empties his stomach contents all over the dragon god. Everyone looks incredulously at the range his puke reached. The dragon god simply wipes the slimy vomit off her face. A strange, slithering creature writhes on the floor before dissolving into thin air. Bleh, that tasted nasty. What the hell did you put in me? Naruto wipes the drool around his mouth, but still tastes the acidity in the back of his mouth. If anything, the experience felt like when he swallowed a full-grown frog or Itachi's crow and spat them back out. Those were unpleasant times. Though he can't see, he senses the unusual aura of the creature before it disappeared. Like I said, the businessman continued. Your body was extremely weak and rejecting your left arm. The dragon god, whom you just vomited on, forced one of her snakes into your stomach to increase your strength and stabilize your condition. Since you arrived, she has been regularly caring for you. Eventually, your body accepted the arm. It was amazing, considering you fought with your arm in that condition. Normal people would have lost that arm and died from blood loss. But with sheer willpower, even unconscious, you overcame this obstacle. He blandly recounted past events since Naruto was in a coma. Lying on the bed, Naruto dwells on the information. I must say, you have amazing form and muscles. I could just rub up against that chest of yours all day. Meow. Kuroka playfully praises Naruto's developed body for his age. To this, his cheeks blushes deep red again. Some unknown girl, who Naruto pretty sure is hot, did various things to him while he was asleep. May this be how it feels to be on the receiving end of a sexy jutsu. For such a powerful individual, you sure can't handle women. Ha, ha. The armored guy mockingly laughs at his distress. If he weren't stuck to this bed, Naruto would have surely decked him over the head. Pretty boy knocks the guy upside the head for him, though. Stop it, you two, the pretty boy leader orders. But the armored one can't help but snicker a bit. My name's Valley. Pretty sure you got acquainted with Kuroka. This one is Biko. Lastly, he's Arthur Pendragon, the pretty boy, named Valley. Introduces his group to the bedridden ninja. Naruto analyzes the names, Kuroka, Black Sound, and Biko, Beautiful Monkey, sound familiar to him. At least he can understand those names, but Valley and Arthur Pendragon? Those don't sound native to his world at all. Wait, how you can understand me? Realization strikes as Naruto asks a very good question to which no one has a reasonable answer. Everyone in the room looks questioningly at him. You speak Japanese, but the dialect seems quite unusual. I've never heard anything quite like it. Arthur, the holy sword wielder, answers emotionlessly. Naruto is pretty sure Shino, and he would have been good friends. Japanese, That's what that dragon called it as well. Naruto recalls his first encounter with Great Red, and even the dragon of the apocalypse had a difficult time understanding him. You're saying that you don't even know what language you're using? How much of a blockhead are you? Biko, the monkey boy, insults the weakened blonde again. If only Naruto can get out this bed and get his hands around that monkey's neck. Stop it, Biko. Valley, in frustration, rubs his eyebrows. Biko and Kuroka are handfuls to control at times with their immature and naughty personalities, but naughty in different manners. Since you were speaking Japanese, we assumed you originated from the island nation of Japan off the east coast of Asia. Naruto remains silent for a moment. Asia? Japan? Those words hold no meaning to him. No elemental nations? He really is in a different dimension Hagamoro did not know of. Spacetime ninjutsu never really made sense to him. He just knows how to perform them, akin to knowing how to speak without being able to read or write. These people certainly don't feel like shinobi since their auras are way off. Only Kuroka feels like she has a semblance of chakra. If anything, Naruto can sense dragon energy emitting from Valley, and the ninja only knows how dragon energy feels after meeting Great Red, the first real-life dragon Naruto ever met. How is he even in communication with these people? This could not simply be a mere coincidence. As confusing as this whole situation is, we can't stay here for much longer. Valley decides to end the visit. I was here to check on Ophis. Kuroka's shift to watch over you is over, so it's IME for us to take our leave. The pretty boy leads his group out of the room. Arthur, due to his curiosity, followed Valley to look at the face of a being who could stand as Great Red's peer. Biko just wanted to paint amusing pictures to complement those whisker marks on Naruto's cheeks, but Biko would never say his true intentions aloud. Kuroka had to periodically clean Naruto's face after each of his excursions. With that, only Naruto and Ophis remained. So, you're Ophis, the dragon god. Sorry about, If he could sheepishly rub the back of his head. Naruto apologizes to Ophis for his little puking episode. Somehow, Ophis removed the vomit from her body and cloths. Dragons work in mysterious ways, Naruto figures. Though, he wouldn't step on the floor until someone cleans up his mess. The foul, regurgitated stomach contents is starting to smell. Okay, she replies back curtly. For some time, the two remain in the awkwardly silent room. Naruto doesn't even know what time of the day it is. Ophis, is she always alone like this? Isolated from the outside world? Are she and he prisoners? So, what do you do at a time like this? Naruto, attempting to break the ice, tries to strike up a casual conversation in the grueling silence. With his energetic personality, he never liked his stays at the hospital. I say my wishes. I hand out snakes. I sit, Ophis blandly, but truthfully answers as though she doesn't care about the morbid lifestyle she endures. Alone in a room with concrete walls on all sides and no light. It's solitary confinement. Naruto has no response. She's the complete opposite of him personality-wise. Great. Not only is he stuck to this bed, the only other person in the room barely speaks a word, and if she does, the responses are short and brief. So, what exactly is that snake you put in me? A piece of my power. The infinite dragon answers apathetically. My snakes grant power to those who ingest them. Well, thank you. Naruto expresses his gratitude to the dragon god. She only nods. If what Arthur Pendragon said is true, then Ophis really saved his life. Even though the snake is out of his systems, he still feels the lingering effects. Where am I anyway? Cow's Brigade. Ophis delivers a clear answer as opposed to Arthur, my organization to kill Great Red. Though, that doesn't really answer the location question, but now he somewhat knows what he's dealing with. The name doesn't give much confidence. However, if Ophis is calling the Cow's Brigade her organization, then why is she a prisoner? Shouldn't she be in some top-secret base discussing strategies and tactics? Things do not add up. So, you sit all alone in this room, every day, and just give out snakes to whomever? Why? Naruto, disgusted, asks, to which Ophis nods. Even blindfolded, Naruto could feel the air vibrations indicated by certain body movements. Loneliness, solitude. He certainly knows how painful those are. but they don't seem to affect Ophis. I want Great Red dead. It reiterates as if it is her raison d'etre. What is your purpose? Name? Naruto Uzumaki. He just realizes that he impolitely never introduced himself. My purpose. I must complete a mission for my friends and people. My duty is not over. Deviating from his carefree attitude, Naruto responds seriously with strength and determination not fitting his young age. Even Ophis feels the resolve behind those words. This child already surprises her. Why do you have whiskers? Are you a yokai? Yokai? I'm not a yokai. If I get what you're asking, Naruto, again unfamiliar with this world's terminology, repeats her question. If yokai translates into a meaning he's familiar with, then the closest would be the tailed beasts. Through time, people from his world lost the origin of the tailed beasts, feared them, and imprisoned them. They called the tailed beasts various names such as demon fox or yokai. Humans domesticate animals and keep them as pets. Ophis recalls an observation she noticed while living amongst humans for millennia. Modern city-dwelling humans go to adoption centers to pick up stray cats and dogs. I found you. There, you are my pet. What, you think I'm some type of dog? Befuddled, Naruto mutters. To this, Ophis only nods. What the hell? Ow. Naruto's sudden jerk into an upright position stains his body, and intense pain courses all over. He immediately collapses onto the bed. You are still injured. Go to sleep, the dragon god commands. It's not as if Naruto can deny her in his condition. Yeah. With that, the blonde hair boy of prophecy promptly falls asleep once more. /n. I apologize for not updating for a while. Life changes, and I don't have the time I used to have. Thanks to my beta reader for correcting and revising the rough draft. I wanted to at least get this chapter up before April when Born debuts. I hope to get the next chapter up soon since I have a small window to do so. Thank you to those who have read and reviewed this story so far. If you want to read more into this story, this is a revised version of the previous Pervert X Pervert. Some content has changed, but the overall plot remains similar. Reviews and constructive criticisms are welcomed. Big Blast Sonic. Disclaimer. I do not own any part of the Naruto franchise or High School DxD. Warning. Spoilers for High School DxD past Volume 4 read, review, and enjoy. For about 3 weeks, Naruto has been bedridden since Ophis rescued him. Safe to say, he's not a happy camper. At least he has some feeling in this left arm. His eyes still sting, but not as badly as before. The shinobi sleeps often, like a newborn baby, to recoup his depleted chakra. All the while, the dragon god observes him. A few things he notes. 1. Ophis is naive of the world around her. 2. Ophis is not very talkative. 3. Ophis lacks any sort of common sense. And 4. Ophis needs to stop throwing that goddamn tennis ball. Geez, when are you going to stop? Naruto groans. He seriously wants to pull his hair out. Stuck to this bed is torturous enough, but with her repetitive ball throwing, the whole experience feels like Chinese water torture. Not that Naruto knows anything about China. She specifically requested Valley for said tennis ball and constantly bounces it off the wall next to his bed like water droplets, slowly dripping down on a prisoner's head. The repeating cycle of 2 thumps, one off the wall and the other on the ground before returning to her put Naruto on the edge of his sanity. When will you fully recover? Ophis asks apathetically. Truth be told, he doesn't know the answer either. Since the battle, Naruto could not hear or communicate with the tailed beasts. He resigns himself to his fate of endless ball bouncing. The only other individual Naruto encountered the past week was the Nekomata, Kuroka. Coming in every other day for sessions, not only did she replace his dirty sheets, bandages, and she also directly connected, via skin-to-skin contact, her healing senjutsu to his chakra system. He can't deny he does not enjoy her body rubbing up against his broken boy. Her chakra really sped up the recovery process since Naruto is already used to natural energy and readily took in the chakra. Kuroka, surprised by this unanticipated event, asked him about his affinity towards natural energy, but just as Arthur Pendragon withheld information on the Cow's Brigade, Naruto did not tell her anything about his past. Ready for another round, little fox? You smell just as delectable as ever. Meow. That voice signals the start of another intimate healing session. Recognizing that playful banter, Naruto senses Kuroka stripping to her undergarments and entering the bed. If Jiraiya were still alive, he would surely had nosebleed to death when the cat yokai's voluptuous breasts rubs against his own. Instantly, the chakra circulates through his system. It's much more fun when someone else watches. Kuroka whispers into his ear and gently swirls her right index finger along his whisker birthmarks. She refers to the dragon god, sitting on her stool, who observes their little friendly encounters. The situation has been awkward enough. Ophis witnessed their past sessions in their entirety, and Kuroka wanted to demonstrate to the dragon god how humanoids reproduce. You sure you don't wanna? I can detect the scent of strength and power coming from your aura. I've never felt anything so exhilarating before. I heal quickly. Naruto protests her advances. He barely knows this woman and now, she's asking for his babies? There was that one priestess, Cheyenne, who wanted the same thing, but with the Fourth Shinobi World War, all other matters were put on hold. Now, Naruto's not even sure on how to get home. He isn't the best with space-time techniques, only basic ones such as summoning and reverse summoning. You know, there's a faster way to heal. Kuroka continues to whisper delightfully into his ear. Her pheromones makes him shudder. Ever heard of Bachajutsu? The black sound suggests. If Naruto has learned anything about this woman, it is that everything about her is erotically naughty in some fashion. A woman injects her energy directly into a man via sexual intercourse. How about it? We both get what we desire, meow, she proposes explicitly. Naruto's face grows full-blown habanero red. Now, Kuroka has been teasing him about sex ever since he woke up. At least she did not take advantage of him while he was asleep, but for some reason, Naruto felt that a certain pretty boy made sure Kuroka didn't abuse his comatose body. However, Kuroka, panting heavily, seems much more forward than before. He can feel her body temperature rise dramatically. We, Nikosho at maturity, can control when we go into heat, but sometimes our desires got the best of us. Kuroka rubs her cheeks against his and purrs. Naruto feels the guttural desire emanating from her vocals. He would have given in at this moment had Kuroka not released him. Ow! The dragon god, bored of their foreplay, resumes throwing the ball at the wall once again, but this time, the ball accidentally lands on Kuroka's head. Completely engrossed in her lust, she did not notice the ball unexpectedly hitting her. Knocked back to her senses, she gets off Naruto and sits at his bedside. Resisting even me? Is there a girl waiting for you, I wonder? Kuroka, for the first time since Naruto met her, inquires with a hint of sadness in her voice. Even she has honor and dignity regarding relationships. I hope there will be people waiting for me, Naruto solemnly responds back. He's not sure how many people Kaguya sacrificed during their battle. Will there be a population large enough to rebuild a shinobi system? By now, Vala's group and Ophis deduce that Naruto is not of this world. The revelation completely shocked everyone that there were multiple universes outside the human world, heaven, hell, and other dimensions mythological deities resided in. I may be the last one alive. Last one standing, Kuroka, ears dropping, reiterates. She knows how that feels. Her sister and she are the last of her kind, Nikosho, a rare subspecies of Nikomata. She didn't know why, but Naruto's aura calms her, like his presence is warm sun rays shining down on the earth. I have a sister. She's under better care than I can offer her. Where is she? Naruto inquires. This is the first time any person here has tried to initiate a conversation with him. Either Ophis annoys him, Biko annoys him, or Kuroka naughtily annoys him whenever he has company. Chiron, my sister. I heard a rich devil household took her in. They can provide a better life than me. Kuroka, uncharacteristically, continues on. I'm pretty sure Ophis brought you up to speed with the races of this world. She is right. Even though Ophis lacks common sense, she's quite knowledgeable of this world's various mythological histories, races, and differing species ranging from dragons, angels, fallen angels, devils, yokai, valkyries, etc. The dragon god also informed him about traditions and cultures different factions performed. When our parents died, a high-class devil took in my sister and me. He reincarnated me as a bishop with 2 evil pieces. I learned Senjutsu and Yujitsu while serving our former master. He was a cruel, power-hungry master and wanted to experiment on my Chiron, so I killed him. I ran away and left my sister to her fate. She was so young and I couldn't let that happen to her. Kuroka recounts her harsh past and regretful decision. Sure, she abused her sage art abilities, but saved her sister. Since that day, she has held on to the guilt of leaving Chiron alone. Naruto, lying on his back and still blindfolded, senses the rippling disruption in her aura. He can tell the pain she holds underneath her sexual exterior. All too often, Naruto has seen similar events occur in his world. Where there is hate, there is love. Where there is vengeance, there is justice. White sound, how fitting to complement the black sound. You remind me of a great and honorable man. Naruto returns her story with one of his own. Itachi Uchiha, he was a genius from a young age. He was talented at everything. However, he had to shoulder a burden so dark that it engulfed my home village, and maybe even the whole world. His clan was set to rebel against the government with a coup d'etat, but he had to choose between his clan and the village. He chose the village and slaughtered his clan, but left his younger brother, Sasuke, alive. He had hoped that one day, Sasuke would kill him, and that his younger brother would be seen as a hero. When Sasuke learned the truth, he realized just how much his brother loved him, and how much he loved Itachi. Naruto recalls a hero who until the end, proclaims himself as a proud ninja of the hidden leaf. Kuroka stares at the bedridden shinobi. You and I are flesh and blood. I'm always going to be there for you, even if it's only as an obstacle for you to overcome. Even if you do hate me. That's what big brothers are for. No matter how far you two are apart, you are still Chiron's sister. You can bet that once Chiron learns the truth of the circumstances, she'll accept you as a sister once more. I promise. I keep my promises because that's my ninja way. Ya know. Naruto declares with the utmost confidence that even moves Kuroka's beliefs. That warm glow surrounding Naruto is like a beacon for a better and brighter future. Faye, your words make me want to believe you. Kuroka grins widely. If Naruto could have seen her face. Unexpectedly, Naruto feels a pair of warm lips on his cheek and a gentle stroke along his whiskers. I'll see that you keep your promise, meow. With that, the session is over. Kuroka leaves the room. The dragon god, from her lone stool, observed the entire exchange. This blonde hair child, in her eyes, is a curiosity unlike any individual she has met in her long lifetime. He makes others believe in him and want to follow him. His words and strength belong not to a child, but a seasoned veteran who survived countless hardships and battles. You say those words, but do you really mean them? Are you prepared to carry a promise forever? Ophis questions. Just as I said, I never go back on my word. That's my ninja way. I rather die than break a promise. Naruto declares with such tenacity that even the dragon god cannot question him any further. Instead, she resumes throwing the annoying tennis ball back and forth, much to Naruto's ire. Sighing, he prepares himself for bouncing for hours on end once again. More days pass, and thanks to Kuroka's healing sessions, Naruto feels almost fully recovered physically and off those tubes pumping nutrients into his bloodstream. Though his chakra levels are still low, he can move freely on 2 legs again. Warming up with legs, arms, and torso stretches, Naruto performs a few taijutsu regimes to dust off some rust on his skills. Ow! Naruto feels something hard bounce off his head. He should have been more observant since he's still blindfolded. Fetch! Ophis throws the infernal tennis ball at him once again. But this time, Naruto is prepared. This damn thing. The irate blonde grips the ball tightly and chucks it as hard as possible at the dragon god. However, even with all his might, Ophis simply catches the ball with one hand. You're not bad. You as well. Ophis throws the ball back at her recipient. Naruto catches the incoming throw, but feels the impact. He shakes his right hand. That throw of hers is just as hard as his, but with little effort to produce the same result. Sure, Naruto is undergoing physical therapy, but Office throws really hard. An idea lights up in his head. The recovering shinobi throws with his left arm. The dragon catches the ball and throws it back. Naruto repeatedly with his left arm throws the ball back and forth until even he tires of the game. Sighing, he catches the ball and, to prevent any further annoyances, holds onto the ball. Then, he sits in a lotus position to focus his mind. He meditates and uses Sage Mode to sense the layout of the location he has been stuck in for just over 3 weeks. A barrier blocks his probe from reaching outside. Though he cannot sense any of Vala's group members, perhaps on some mission, there are quite a number of substantially strong individuals. If he has to gauge based on shinobi rankings, most are Jinin Chunin and others reaching up to Jonin and even Kage level. The spectrum surprises Naruto. 2 guards stand in front of Office's chamber. With the hideout structure memorized, Naruto will just have to bide his time until the right moment. Just then, Vala's energy signature appears. Is there a sort of transportation system akin to Naruto's familiar body flicker? Regardless, what is he going to do with Office? Obviously, she is the Chaos Brigade's leader in name only. This conglomeration of various factions doesn't seem to have a specific leader, and each faction wants to complete their own objective. In other words, they are not united, and that may be Naruto's ticket out of here. He does not want to leave the dragon here, alone. In some ways, her isolation reminds him of his early childhood and that of other Jinchuriki. She is only a weapon to be used for nefarious purposes, even if Office does not care. However, she seems particularly interested in him. Even though Naruto does not know Office's power or abilities, he heard from Valas that she's supposed to be the strongest and made gods quiver. Born from the infinity of nothingness, the dragon god left the dimensional gap long ago and lived amongst humans. She took on different appearances throughout history. However, when she tried to return to the dimensional gap, Great Red took up residence. She repeatedly requests Naruto to join her and oust Great Red. But not only is the Apocalypse Dragon vital for the sanctity of the dimensional gap and surrounding dimensions, he is also doing something very important for him. Can he even get out of here while carrying a second person? Only God knows what goes through Office's head, and that unpredictability can lead to problems. Though, how can he judge her since he's known as the #1 unpredictable knucklehead? The tailed beasts are still not responsive since the battle, so he's on his own. Until the time is right, he will bide his time. Just over 4 weeks, Naruto has regained control over his body. Though his eyes are still bandaged, he feels ready to move on and find a way out of this hideout. Probing the Chaos Brigade base until he memorizes the layout once more, he notices a large influx of magically adept individuals. Since Office described the various races of this world, Naruto infers that these newcomers are magicians since he has never felt energy like those. Dragon energy has a much rougher texture than other types. Demonic powers feel darker and destructive. Magic seems formulaic and arithmetic. An escape under these conditions seems unfavorable, but Naruto feels as if he should get a move on. The past 2 days, an unscrupulous individual has been collecting snakes from the dragon god. Normally, Office only allows Valley and his team members passage into her chambers. The other times, a regular errand boy retrieves the snakes, but he has been relieved of his duties. This new handler gives Naruto weird vibes. Though Naruto cannot see, with his sage techniques, he notices the new person eyeing him every time he gathers snakes. His disturbing interest reminds Naruto of Orochimaru and his obsessions. Though not confirmed, Naruto is pretty sure why he is not an experimental lab rat at the time he arrived is because of Office's unusual interest in him and keeps all others, except Vala's team, out of her chambers. Whatever the reasons may be, he feels the time is now. As per usual routine, Kuroka arrives for healing sessions. Since that conversation, the Nikosho and he are on friendlier terms as opposed to sexual accomplices. He really hates what he's going to do, but for his safety, he'll apologize to her whenever he gets the chance. As the doors close behind Kuroka and she approaches, she suddenly tenses as an ominous feeling washes over her. Naruto has removed the bandages over his eyes and eerily stares at her. Suddenly, he disappears. Unable to comprehend what just happened, she feels a quick strike to her neck and falls unconscious. Feeling extremely guilty, The shinobi gently lays the yokai on the bed. Then, he forms 3 shadow clones and commands them to gather natural energy while he, the main body, moves around. Fascinated, Ophis watches the blonde's plan unfold. For the longest time, she has been disinterested in the events of this world until this individual crashed in from another dimension. Naruto transforms into a splitting image of Kuroka and waits until the allotted time passes. With his disguise, he casually struts out of the room. Out of any person's sight, he hides in the shadows and meditates. Probing the hideout's layout again, Naruto searches for the best route towards the magic circles that would teleport him out of here. Once he finds an exit, he will infiltrate the magician's ranks and make a path from Ophis's chambers to him. Searching for a few moments, Naruto discerns the best route to an exit. Generating 5 more shadow clones and all 6 transforming into generic magician fodder, complete with 3-eyed cloaks, Naruto and clones carry out the operation. Each blends into a group of magicians and gradually close in on the teleportation circles. Naruto does not like the high level of activity. The Chaos Brigade is gathering an army of mages, but for what reason? War is of course the most probable answer, but against whom? The Chaos Brigade is comprised of several factions who each hold their own goals. What are the magicians' goals? Or are they pawns for someone else? Either way, this development increases the urgency to find an exit. Finally, the main body discreetly breaks away from a magician rank and hides in the shadows right outside the teleportation gate. Using the transparent escape technique he learned from Jiraiya, Naruto camouflages into his surroundings and examines the controls. Great. He can't read the scripts operating the gate. He will need to persuade someone to handle the controls. Returning to the shadows, Naruto telepathically communicates to his transformed clones and orders them to find security personnel to unlock the controls. Mentally nodding, the clones stealthily separate from their ranks and search for the security room. After a few minutes, one clone finds it and bides his time until a person opens the door. With luck, not much later, a mage exits the room. With that opening, the clone enters the room, catches the only guard on duty off guard, uses his right eye to hypnotize him, and orders the guard to tell him how to operate the teleportation gate. Once he has received the information, the clone knocks the guard out and replaces him. The clone looks over the security monitors. For some reason, no one has been monitoring Ophis's actions. Odd. It's as if someone does not want other Chaos Brigade members watching over the Dragon God. Whoever that individual may be, that person has done him a favor. Aside from that, Jiraiya's invisibility technique effectively hides Naruto's presence as the clone observes no traces of the main body and other clones on the security monitors. Mentally relaying the information back to the main body, the clone hides the unconscious guard and takes control over security. Receiving the information, Naruto telepathically orders one of the sage-gathering clones back in Ophis's chambers to get the Dragon God. Nodding, the sage clone breaks concentration and attempts to take Ophis, but she does not budge at all. No matter how hard the sage clone tugs on her arm, the Dragon God remains glued to the stool. Is she playing with him? This is not the time to joke around. Does the Dragon God even have a sense of humor? Hey, come on. The sage clone grunts as he vainly pulls. We've got to get out of here. This is my organization. I shall not leave, Ophis responds nonchalantly. It's like trying to reason with a captain who adamantly would not leave a sinking ship. You really think they're going to help you kill Great Red? Hell, since I've been awake, I haven't felt a single energy signature enough to match a fraction of your power. They are manipulating you and abusing your gifts. You're willingly imprisoning yourself. Naruto attempts to sway her decision as he tugs harder. Then, what is your answer? The Dragon God dully looks into his strange, heterochromatic eyes. How will you persuade me to follow you? Naruto, question stumping him, utters while he thinks of an answer. We are on opposite sides of this issue. You want Great Red dead, but I need him alive. You want to go home, and Great Red, even though he talks like a gangster, just wants space to freely swim, spin, and all that. Both he and you want a home with peace and quiet. Fine. I promise to find a way to compromise between you two. Naruto points with his thumb at his heart while he earnestly holds her hand. His intense eyes stare deeply into her searching, lifeless eyes. Ophis senses the glowing, bright, and warm aura surrounding the blonde ninja. It's like a beacon drawing moths to a flame. His words actually tap on an emotion she hasn't felt for eons: faith. Okay, Ophis, the dragon god, miraculously agrees. She has never thought of Great Red as a wild and free spirit who just wanted to be left alone, just like her. In Naruto's words, she believes that a compromise is possible. Releasing her invisible, inseparable grip on the stool, she allows the blonde to lift her off and set her on his back. The sage clones, except for one, wakes from meditation and joins the clone holding Ophis. The lone clone dispels and delivers sage chakra to the main body waiting by the teleportation circles. With the clone, disguised as the knocked-out guard, at the security helm, Naruto's clones can more easily maneuver around the base. But the main Naruto has a bright idea. Seeing Nagato use this before, he performs the reverse, summon technique, and out of the resulting smoke are his sage clones and Ophis. Thinking about it, the summoning jutsu resembles the teleportation magic circles in that both techniques require specially written seals to operate. Shaking his head of complicated concepts, the main Naruto operates the controls. However, suddenly the alarm goes off. Some person conveniently alerted the entire base of his escape. How? Kuroka surely is still unconscious, and so is the security guard, as his clone confirms. Just as quickly as the alarm set off, magicians arrive outside the teleportation chambers. His sage clones immediately knock them out with a swift combination of frog fu. Crap, all this technical know-how starts to confuse him. Not only does he not know how to coordinate the destination, but also he does not know where he's going to teleport to. The lands of this realm only confirm he's not in his world any longer. The original coordinates were set in the northern regions of a place called Europe, specifically the Scandinavian mountains. The blonde mentally curses as he feels stronger energies quickly coming his way. Taking his chances, Naruto sets the original coordinates and dispels his clones. With a rush of sage chakra filling his systems, he scoops up Ophis and jumps into the teleportation gate. Once again, Naruto should have really thought things through. Landing in a pile of icy cold snow with nothing but bandages and undergarment, the barely clothed ninja curses whatever god reigns over this region. Somewhere in another dimension, said one-eyed god sneezes. At least the sun's position marks that it was midday. Also, luckily, he's still in sage mode, so the thick layer of chakra surrounding his body offset the freezing climate around him. He has to get a move on. Surely his pursuers are still on his tail through the dimensional gate. How fitting to set up a secret supply line right in the middle of inhospitable territory and away from human civilization. The dragon god decided to take her little pet for a walk? A voice interrupts his chain of thought. Naruto turns around to see a rather voluptuous lady wearing glasses. She has tan skin, long brown hair tied in a bun, and purple eyes. The extremely low-cut dress with a high slit exposes a large portion of her breasts. A sizable army of cloaked magicians escort her as well. And what's it to you? Who are you? Naruto stands his ground while he put Ophis on the ground behind him. This is the energy signature he felt right before he hastily teleported away from the base. Comparing her to a level familiar to Naruto's understanding, he ranks the woman at least a Kaguya, meaning she's no pushover in the Naruto state. This is the first time I've laid eyes on you. Valley is not very forthcoming on information regarding Ophis. The lady reveals. Name's Kaguya Leviathan. Leviathan? Naruto curses his luck again. Not only she's strong, she also carries the name of one of the 4 devil kings Ophis mentioned. You have taken something precious from us? Kaguya points to the little girl behind his leg. I advise you to return the dragon god and go back into your cage. Yeah, right, and after all the trouble I just went through? Naruto answers rhetorically. You guys left her all alone in a room with barely any lighting and manipulated her for who knows how long. Abused her gifts just to obtain whatever your selfish goals may be. No decent person can let that slide. The blonde child of prophecy preaches. Emotions run high as Naruto remembers the shinobi political structure and balance built upon the trade of tailed beasts by the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. Feared and envied for their power, the tailed beasts were sealed like animals. their names taken away, and abused for their strength. Naruto immediately performs his first signature technique right after he completes his harsh lecture. Instantly, an army of shadow clones appear around him. However, to save Chakra, these clones are not in Sage mode since their targets are the fodder magicians with the descendant of the former Devil King. He has to get this over with fast before reinforcement arrive, or before he succumbs to the cold. Without warning, the shadow clone army disappears instantly. Katlia's eyes widen. She felt nothing at all. Those clones did not just simply move. A few clones stray away from the group in order to gather natural energy, while another whisks the dragon god away. With the fodder dealt with, Naruto and Katlia locks eye to eye. I see. Katlia narrows her eyes. I cannot pursue that one until I deal with you. What we all witnessed just a month ago was not for show. The progeny of the original Leviathan analyzes what she just observed. He has an ability to produce large numbers of solid clones unlike the illusions yokai wield. However, the most frightening power she has seen is his speed. Is it a form of teleportation? Devils teleport with magic circles to get over long distances, but the initiation speed is nothing compared to Naruto's startup time, which is nearly instantaneous. Katlia quickly holds up her hand and creates a large demonic circle. She launches a black beam of demonic energy straight at the blonde. The blast devours everything in its path, diverts upwards, and takes out a mountain top. She expects that the attack will miss as her target is right behind her. At the last moment, she twists her abdominal so that Naruto's punch from behind misses her body. However, a great force still plows through her entire body, and she is thrown away with such strength that her impact cracks a mountainside. Naruto, dumbfounded at his attack, doesn't know why his frog fu is this strong. No, his physical strength is not this powerful unless Kurama backs him up. He easily dodges the Leviathan's last attack thanks to this left eye of his. But Naruto feels the gap between each time he can instantaneously switch around the battlefield. Without the six paths Sage Chakra, Naruto can only fight on the ground while his opponent has freedom in the air. The ninja forms his signature hand signs. A windmill shuriken poofs into existence. The blonde ninja quickly grabs his new weapon and expertly throws it at his opponent. Not expecting such a quick response, Katlia dodges the spiraling shuriken, but does not expect a second one hiding the shadow of the first windmill shuriken. She manages to avoid the second as it grazes her flawlessly smooth abdominal obliques. However, looking for her opponent, Katlia feels his ominous presence behind her. Twisting her arms backwards, Naruto, using his newfound physical strength, brings her two appendages behind her back, crosses them over each other, flips in midair several rounds to gain centripetal force, compounds that energy with natural gravity, and smashes the Leviathan several meters into the mountain rock beneath the snow. The result impact creates a crater several kilometers in radius around the epicenter. Naruto leaps off her shattered body. With Sage mode, he senses no active life flow in her aura and considers her unconscious. However, when he's about to depart, a powerful and infinite energy explodes from her limp body. The blonde jumps away from the increasing power as it mends her broken body. That was quite a wallop there, Katlia angrily remarks about her opponent's melee combination. She has seen this Tuki ability when a Sage Art user enters hand-to-hand combat. That only means that she cannot get close to this adversary. I can see why Ophis has taken such a liking to you. I will thank her later for this. The descendant of the great sea monster written in the Old Testament of the Bible reveals a dark, transparent, wriggling serpentine creature emitting from her black aura. One of Ophis's snakes. Naruto knows of the power those serpents hold. After all, it's only thanks to one of those snakes that he survived chakra depletion and immune rejection of his eyes and left arm. With this, my power will reach that of my ancestor, the original Leviathan. Katlia laughs maniacally as the power rushes through her body. Holding her right hand forward, Katlia forms a demonic circle. Naruto, with Sage mode, senses her power heightened several folds. Luckily, the delay in his left eye already passed, and he instantaneously switches positions with one of his transformed clone windmill shurikens lodged in the snow. Gaining his footing, Naruto charges head-on with his newly superpowered frog fu. However, Kaguya pulls a trick out of her own sleeve. Her arms increase in length and aim straight at him. Using his right eye and Sage Mode, Naruto foresees his opponent's movements and precisely maneuvers around her outstretched limbs. At the last moment, the ninja realizes that her arms have ensnared his movements. Madly grinning, Kaguya redirects her outstretched hands and fires demonic energy at the trapped blonde. Just as before, Naruto switches positions with a chunk of snow right behind the Leviathan. However, a mass of stretching arms erupt from the ground and constrict him. Kaguya seems much more cunning than she leads on. Testing his teleportation ability, the Devil King descendant timed the interval between each of Naruto's teleporations. With her left arms, she aims right for the blonde's head and prepares to fire before the interval ends. Naruto wriggles fruitlessly, as even his newfound physical augmentation to his Sage Mode cannot free him from her Ophis Serpent-empowered grip. Out of desperation, the shinobi roars at the top of his lungs and repels the appendages wrapped around his body. The force of the shockwave throws Kaguya over a mountain in the distance. Naruto, freed from his imminent decapitation, pants as the last of his natural chakra dissipates. That's why he had several clones gather natural energy, as the battle is not over yet. After one of his Sage gathering clones bursts and returns with his natural energy, Naruto grins ironically when he realizes what exactly is going on. Even after death and in an entirely different plane of existence, his friends, Sakura and Sasuke, continue to support him, and he's going to make the most of his departed comrades' gifts. Not only that, but he's finally getting used to these eyes. Hearing an explosion in the distance, Naruto feels the last of his clones disappear as Kaguya vents her anger on his clones and her own mages. "You're just full of surprises," she comments and spits out blood accumulating in her mouth. Leviathan's descendant returns to the battlefield in record time thanks to Ophis's serpent power-up. "Look, it is over. My clone has already escaped, and I highly doubt you want to expose your operations here just to hunt down Ophis." Naruto bluffs and hopes that Kaguya will just retreat, but if he knows her type, I'll be the judge of that. At this point, Kaguya's anger blows through the roof as she charges an enormous ball of demonic energy. Is she going to blow this area away in the hopes that the level of destruction will outstrip his teleportation's range? Villains just don't give up. Well, it isn't as if he can complain, since that's his motto too. Naruto holds up his left hand and points his palm at the devil. Kaguya feels an irresistible attraction that pulls her straight towards the blonde at speeds such that the air resistance paralyzes her limbs. The blonde rears his right arm back and charges his chakra into a single point. Unable to escape her fate, the Leviathan watches as if in slow motion. Naruto twists his back foot and throws his superpowered punch right into Kaguya's gut. The force distorts the woman's body as her cervicothoracic region of her body and legs launch forward due to inertia, and her midsection bends backwards as Naruto's fist digs deeply into her abdomen. With a final roar, Naruto punches Kaguya straight through the stratosphere. A faint twinkle in the sky marks the fight's end. Naruto breathes deeply in relief that the fight is over. Mentally communicating with the clone that escaped with Ophis, he disappears in a poof as the clone reverse summons the main body. Sitting at a large, circular conference table, the Governor-General of the Fallen Angels and Grigori, Azazel, casually leans back into his leather chair while his second-in-command, Shemhaza, stands next to him. Eyes twitching, the Vice-Governor-General is infuriated with his superior's carefree manner. The three great powers are about to reconvene after a month since that incident. Azazel has the attitude to call up the other powers for a get-together like little girls at a slumber party. Even though he has a devil wife, Shemhaza, still bitter from the loss of his comrades, does not agree with cooperation between the three powers due to the loss of fallen angels during the Great War. Only excruciatingly dire circumstances, such as the two heavenly dragons and most recent incident, would coerce him to set aside deeply seated grudges. At the scheduled time, 4 holographic 3D models appear at the conference table. The Devil's representatives, Sirzek Lucifer and his Queen Graphia Lucifuge, and Heaven's representatives, Archangel Michael and the strongest woman in Heaven Gabriel, arrive at the meeting. Well, this is quite an event. The oldest son of the head of the Grimmery House initiates the talks. We haven't talked to one another since the confirmation of Great Red's existence. Great Red, one of the two beasts mentioned in the Book of Revelation, his existence was only speculated because it is written in the Bible. However, all myths and legends had to have started from some event grounded in reality. If one beast exists, then there's a chance that the second does as well. And how are recovery measures going on your end? The leading seraph asks the leaders of the two dominant factions of the underworld. Thanks to Heaven's aid and fallen angel technology, we devils, alongside fallen angels, have repaired the barrier between the underworld and dimensional gap, Graphia reports. Although, raiding gams have been suspended until we have completely restored the barrier and safely set up arenas in the dimensional gap. The tourism industry has taken a huge hit due to this. How about heaven? Azazel questions his angelic counterpart. Luckily, the system remains intact throughout the whole episode, so God's blessings and miracles are still in effect. But the damage to heaven has caused a number of mishaps amongst our followers. Michael solemnly closes his eyes. Because of God of the Bible's death, he has had to control God's system, but not to the same degree as the Almighty Lord once did. Wars between the Abrahamic religious factions erupted time and again amongst followers. The Crusades, anti-Semitic persecution, and most recently the wars of the Middle East since the turn of the century. Ironically, the soldiers who believe that the wars were in God's name fuel God's system. Well, that's good, Azazel admits. If heaven no longer exists, then the balance between good and evil will fall, and in turn cause more chaos. Aside from the recovery effort, we, Grigori, have been examining the data from the incident 1 month ago, and we will be willing to share our information if you, Surzex and Michael, would be willing to accommodate in completing the entire picture. Yes, you mentioned that in your message. Surzex holds an AR generator Azazel mailed to both the angels and devils. However, we would like to know where you were doing that incident. Well, Azazel scratches the back of his head. There has been unusual movement lately in the human realm and underworld. Certain humans, whom I believe possess sacred gears, have been disappearing. Also, certain groups who don't agree with the current devil leadership have been more active than normal in the rural areas. The Governor General relays his findings. Sir, are you sure it's wise to so openly discuss this? Shemhaza hesitantly protests against his superior's carefree attitude. Relax, Azazel off-handedly waves off his second-in-command. There has been enough conflict to last an eternity. I'm just curious as to what peace looks like. That comment catches all the participants in the room off guard. And that's the real reason as to why you called us here? To discuss peace between the three great powers? Michael doubtfully questions his fallen counterpart. Even the leader of the angels does not believe his words. Not particularly, but if talks go that way, I wouldn't mind. Azazel leans forward and rests his elbows on the conference table. The main reason I requested both of your attendance, I already mentioned. As a sign of future talks, I'll place my cards on the table. Azazel places his own AR generator on the table and activates it. The device transforms the conference room into a visual replica of the environment in the dimensional gap. Right at the center of the conference table are holographic, miniature models of a number of beasts, including Great Red. This is what the Grigori was able to produce from the data gathered, but as you can see, the image is very static and blurry due to instrument and computer failure. That's why I called on both the angels and devils. I hope we can share data gathered between us three and compose an entirely complete record of the event that transpired a month ago, the fallen angel leader explains. Michael, Surzex, Graphia, and Gabriel reluctantly looks at each other before making a decision. Since you so graciously pioneered these talks, we can't just refuse your offer. Surzex smiles genuinely. The 4 current Devil Kings are certainly carefree. Lord Surzex, Graphia halts her husband. You sure it's wise to divulge such information? Not only that, you stored this data without my knowledge. A dark aura surrounds his maid of a spouse. Surzex chuckles sheepishly as he defied his wife. Shemhaza agrees with her warnings, though. If he were in Azazel's position, this meeting would have never occurred. I, on behalf of the angels, Suppose we shall cooperate as well. Michael smiles as well. Both of them reveal an AR generator containing their respective data. The devil and angel leaders seems to have thought of this possibility. Peace, though very far, takes its first step. You say that peace talks were not part of the agenda, yet you are subtly prodding the angels, fallen angels, and devils toward that path. You know me better than that. I would never contrive such a situation to benefit all three great powers. Azazel sarcastically remarks about Michael's observation. Now, let's get this meeting underway. Meanwhile, a 12-legged horse arrives at a scene of devastation. Mountains cracked or destroyed, craters ranging from meters to kilometers in diameter, and a heavy demonic energy residue lingering all over the ground. An old, one-eyed, long gray-haired individual steps off his mighty steed onto the ice-cold snow of the Scandinavian mountain range. Following close behind is his young bodyguard, a beautiful long, silver-hair battle maiden. She wears the traditional Valkyrie armor consisting of a white chestplate with gold and pale blue accents, matching fingerless gauntlets, boots, hip guards, and wing-shaped hair clips. She also wears a black leotard underneath her chest armor, black thigh-high stockings, and a pale blue cloth wrap underneath her hip guards, all of which are clad with pink lacing with her hair clips. The two survey the empty battlefield before them. Lord Odin, what do you believe happened here? The Valkyrie, Rosweiss, asks her superior, the chief god of Norse mythology. Dunno, the old geezer shrugs. Whatever happened and whomever the culprits involved, they hightailed out of here before we arrived. This level of destruction would require a deity of considerable strength at minimum. Not only that there are no traces of bodies around, who would wildly go and destroy this serene landscape. Rosweiss analyzes and poses a possible scenario for the sources of the scene in front of the two. Whoever caused this certainly is no longer here. That means it's no longer my problem. Odin casually waves off the entire situation and mounts his horse, Sleipnir. Sir. Rosweiss scolds her boss for batting an eyelash. This region is your responsibility, and a powerful individual slipped underneath the Norse god's territory. You cannot just walk away without a definite answer. The Valkyrie whacks the god upside the head. Ah, stop being such a hard arse. Odin rubs the area his subordinate hit. There are some pressing matters I must attend to. You mean peeping on the female mage's locker room again? How about the time you went to the human realm and got arrested for spying on women changing? Or the time you bought out a brothel? Or, his bodyguard rambles off the various misdemeanors her superior committed over her time underneath his supervision. However, she fails to notice he already left while she vented her anger to nobody. At her foot is a piece of paper which she picked up and read. Hey Rosweiss, as much as I enjoy listening to your ranting, I went on ahead and given the responsibility of finding those involved to you. Have fun. P.S. While you're out doing that, find a boyfriend. Seriously, it'll do a whole lot of good for you. With that last postscript, the blushing red, silver-haired battle maiden angrily scrunches up the messily written note Odin left behind. It's not her fault she can't find a boyfriend. She just does not have the time to go out like other girls her age. Rosweiss aims to be the best Valkyrie when she was younger, and studied whereas her classmates wasted time on the opposite sex. With a short huff, she resigns to her fate and examines the craters for possible clues. /N, thanks to my beta reader, Fairy Tale Dragonslayer, for checking continuity, correcting and revising the rough draft, and giving me the green light. This chapter is just a reposting of previous content of the previous version of this story. I apologize for that, but instead of posting Chapter 3 early and claiming it as new content, I posted Chapter 4 with the new content. Thank you to those who have read and reviewed this story. Blue Desire. Disclaimer. I do not own any part of the Naruto franchise or High School DxD. Warning. Spoilers for High School DxD past Volume 4 read, review, and enjoy. To obtain a complete picture of the incident 1 month ago, the representatives of all three great powers, Azazel, Michael, and Surzex, compile their respective data and assemble a record of the epic battle. The augmented reality version of Great Red refines in quality until all participants at the meeting have a clear 3D image of the biblical beast of the apocalypse. Not just that, but their combined data is able to fully render the entire battle such that everyone can examine every detail of the golden, fiery warrior wearing a white robe and wielding a monk's staff, against the dragon and warrior, an enormous beast, resembling a humanoid rabbit, of immeasurable proportions towers over even Midgardsormr, known as the Sleeping Dragon, Dragon of the End, and the largest of the 5 great dragon kings. What intrigues all 3 leaders the most is not the two unknowns' wide range of abilities, but the tremendously huge, spherical stone body floating in the dimensional gap. Whatever the Golden Warrior's logic may be, he created an astronomical object on par with the size of the moon. That moon-sized object, Azazel continues the meeting with his thoughts aloud. The Grigori has been monitoring it and observing Great Red's movement. So far, the beast hasn't left the superstructure since its conception, almost as if the dragon were protecting it. Not one of our researchers has been able to get remotely close to the object. Based on your observations, do you perceive any part of this situation as a potential threat? Surzex questions his fallen angel counterpart. Nope. The Governor-General leans back into his seat. If any of the other mythological religions and factions got the bright idea to get within a kilometer of the object, Great Red would surely annihilate them. Also, the beast has been minding its own business until recent events, so I don't think it'll be a problem if observed from afar. Aside from that, please look at this. Michael offers his input and jumps to where the giant tin-tailed rabbit assaults the dragon, armored warrior with an earth-shattering blast. Soon after, the fiery warrior comes back with 9 new entities to fight alongside the dragon of the apocalypse before combining all 10 beasts into an avatar on par to that of the tin-tailed rabbit. This was from our portion of the data. Looking closely, the armor decorations resemble an Asura from Buddhism and Hinduism. The Asura often are depicted with 6 arms and 3 faces. The Archangel leader points out the aforementioned characteristics on the armor. Indeed, aside from the 9 tails, there are 3 pairs of arms and 2 additional faces. The middle right hand holds a pitch-black double-helix spear and a cross-hatched shield in the opposing hand. So, you're hypothesizing that these new beings are from East Asia and possibly demigods? Azazel asks his angelic counterpart. From what the Governor-General knows of those religions, they originate in East Asia. Pure World Buddhism, or Amitism, is the most widely practiced form of Buddhism. Asura, or Ashura in Japanese, is the name of the lowest ranks of demigods derived from Hinduism. I wouldn't classify them amongst demigods. Surzex offers his analysis. The power those 2 demonstrated far outstrips that of any known demigod. Also, we, devils, captured footage of the unidentified person who appeared at the end of that battle. This time, the devil leader jumps to the end of the fight when the tin-tailed rabbit is blown away and reduced to a female humanoid entity. The unknown takes the appearance of a young, black-haired girl wearing gothic Lolita clothing. However, the speed at which she phases into the dimensional gap, takes the blonde, and disappears beckons a few questions such as, who is this person? This child must possess a great measure of power to approach Great Red, Michael notes at the sudden appearance of this newcomer. We have no information on whom this child may be, Surzex adds, or her intentions as of yet. It's obvious that she's no mere child. Perhaps we should get into contact with Sakura? Meh, that guy, carefree as he wants others to perceive him, is a crafty and cunning fella. I don't think it's to our benefit to include him until necessary. Azazel warns the Archangel and Devil King about his suspicions of Sakura, otherwise known as Indra. The Hindu demigod has a buzz cut, wears circular glasses, and a Hawaiian shirt. And there's one other thing. And what may that be? Michael, not liking the tone of his fallen angel counterpart's voice, inquires. Sir, Shemhaz's deadly and stern voice warns his superior. Obviously, whatever topic Azazel's about to reveal may be taboo. Do you believe in extraterrestrials? Azazel leans forward with both hands intertwined. Normally, such a question would elicit laughter and disbelief, but coming from Azazel and his reputation as a scientist, this question is not to be taken lightly. The Grigori found a body floating in the dimensional gap soon after the end of that battle. We may have just made first contact. The Governor-General reveals a hidden AR storage device from his coat. Shimhaza stiffens, but does not go unnoticed by the other two great powers. Activating the holographic projector, he reveals a 3D image of said body. Strangely, the supposed extraterrestrial appears human for the most part. With his masculine face, the body sports a full head of long, spiky black hair hanging down to his knees. The body is bare from the navel up, but has dark navy blue pants and sandals, and wears a glove on his left hand. This is what we found. Luckily, since there's no oxygen in the dimensional gap, decay did not set in. I guess it's too early to call this specimen an extraterrestrial since upon dissection of its body, we discovered that he's human, but with one exception: an entirely extra circulatory system. We can't figure out what's the purpose for this foreign circulatory system, but a human-like species to evolve this separately from us, it must have a specific reason to have evolved. However, the only missing parts of his anatomy are his eyes. Based on forensic analysis, someone or something extracted this specimen's eyes. I don't know why, but I'm hypothesizing that it has a connection to the battle we just reviewed. Azazel interrupts his long-winded report to focus in on the tin-tailed rabbit and Azura/Indra composite. Particularly, he narrows in on their eyes. Thanks to today's conference, I just came up with this hypothesis. If this person has any connection to these two entities, then it may lie in the eyes. Even I cannot propose a reason as to why their eyes have those distinct patterns. I don't recall seeing them in any historical records. That's quite an interesting proposal you improvised. Surzex, no longer carrying his light-hearted demeanor, leans in as well. You were so eager to draw data from both us devils and angels, yet you were going to hide this revolutionary information from us. The Satan Lord calls out Azazel's hypocrisy. As you understand, there are those who still carry deep grudges on all three sides, Azazel states matter-of-factly. No one in the room can deny. Each of them experienced the horror of the last war. As a sign of good faith, I'm going against my own organization to garner your support without external factors forcing us, great powers, to work together. Plus, say that we fallen angels hadn't found this body, whereas the devils had. Surely, you devils would have turned over this body to Ajuka Beelzebub. He'd be willing to reincarnate this body, and from the extensive testing, the Grigori can also deduce, based on his musculature and bone structure, that whoever this being was, he used to be a skilled warrior. If he was as much of a warrior as what we three just witnessed through our complied data, then that'll surely put the devils ahead of both fallen angels and angels. No one in the room can deny the Grigori's logic either. From what little data the fallen angels had before this meeting today, they already knew the power the two unknowns wielded. Even though machines may malfunction, there were many observers from all mythologies and factions who must have surely witnessed the cataclysmic battle. Such a shock will put many powers on edge. The fallen angels stumbled upon a gold mine in the form of this humanoid alien. Ajuka Beelzebub, known as the chief advisor of the Devil's Technology Department and another Devil King, could have manipulated this body and pushed the devils beyond the angels and fallen angels. He is the being who created the evil pieces, so the logic is not far-fetched. Even Azazel is wary of this individual. Thus, the Grigori forbid Azazel, even though he's the Governor-General, from revealing this information at this meeting, but Azazel bets on the goodwill of the devils and angels. We understand where you're coming from. Michael nods his head with approval. He looks over to his devil counterpart, Surzex, who smiles as well. This is an unprecedented event no one in this world could have predicted or knows how to respond to. I am glad that you, Azazel, leader of the fallen angels, would put this much faith in a possible alliance between the three great powers. Well, you're right about Ajuka, Azazel, Surzex smiles. If anyone knows about the Devil King who carries the title of Beelzebub, it would be Ajuka's childhood friend, Surzex. He'd certainly would have tinkered and toyed with this specimen had the devils discovered it. I can't blame your organization's logic on this issue. I'm humbled by your actions today, Azazel. You've certainly got the guts to follow what you believe in. We all bear responsibility for the position the three great powers are in right now. Azazel solemnly leans back into his leather seat and looks off at nothing in particular in the distance. This system of hatred we have, you guys have given me hope that we can really break it. Maybe we can open up to the other mythos as well. That won't be an easy task, Michael warns. We beings who have lived for so long, most of us are set in our ways and prefer to exclude outsiders. Hey, don't be so tightly wound up. I mean, look at much we've accomplished just today. Sirzex eases tensions a bit, but Michael speaks the truth. Devils, angels, fallen angels, gods, Buddha, etc. have lived beyond modern man and have even influenced the direction of civilizations. Even though some gods' times have come and passed, they still retain their pride as once all-encompassing beings. This hubris has played a role in the hatred and distrust amongst religions. For now, I suggest we use the information gathered today for further research on our own time. The leading archangel proposes, to which his two counterparts agree. Even though it was brief, this meeting was rather successful. The Redhead Devil King reiterates his point. If you so desire, Azazel, Ajuka can analyze any data you're willing to release on this specimen. Perhaps he can give his opinions on this matter. Sounds good and all, but Azazel glances slightly at his second in command, whose exterior remains cool and unemotional, but underneath, the leading fallen angel can tell he's seething. I'm going to have to deal with some backlash. Maybe we can trade in return for today's information? I can get you in contact with Ajuka and his resources, Sirzex suggests. He, himself, is going to have to deal with backlash from the other high-ranking devil families for coming to this meeting and exchanging information with angels and fallen angels. Hatred runs rampant everywhere. I know you're interested in sacred gears as well. Michael opts in on this barter as well. If you may share your insight and information on those missing humans you suspect to possess sacred gears, we angels will be willing to come to your aid. Yeah, as well as the missing sacred gears. What? Has it been 20 years since 3 of the top 4 sacred gears have gone missing? Azazel poses the rhetorical question, since the true Longinus, Dimension Lost, and Annihilation Maker have gone missing for 2 decades. Zenith Tempest, the angels have the second strongest sacred gear capable of controlling the weather. Anyhow, I henceforth call this meeting of the 3 great powers adjourned. Azazel stands tall and speaks in a falsely serious tone. With that, they depart, each with a complete record of Naruto's final bout against Kaguya Otsutsuki and the mystery behind the missing eyes of Madara Uchiha's corpse. Rosweiss, the Norse chief god's bodyguard, is not having a good time. First, her superior ditched her to go off to who knows where. If Rosweiss has to guess, he want to peek on women again. Second, the sun sets much earlier this close to the Arctic Circle during November, and the night makes searching much more difficult. She has been looking for clues for a few days already, but the weather conditions have no made this task any easier. Her pride as Odin's bodyguard prevents her from leaving this mission unfinished. Third, her trail has gone cold. Whoever were the perpetrators who started a battle in Norse territory without the consent of the leading gods, they need to be brought forth to Odin and explain themselves. Back at Ground Zero, there were traces of demonic energy. One of the culprits belongs to the underworld, that much she's certain. Small traces of magic littered the ground as well, so mages are involved. Stray magicians, those whom have been expelled by the director of the Mages' Council Mephistopheles, may be involved in this incident. However, there's a trace of unknown energy lying about. Despite Rosweiss' vast academic knowledge, this lingering energy is something completely foreign to her. Although unfamiliar, the Valkyrie is aware of senjutsu, or sage techniques, that utilizes the natural energy from the environment. The most prominent senjutsu master is Sun Wukong, the Monkey King illustrated in Journey to the West, but there's no trace of yujitsu, yokai magic, in the senjutsu. He's certainly capable of that much destruction, but it's not in his nature to cause such a ruckus in territories belonging to other factions. Well, looky at what I've found. He. An ominous voice calls out to the battle maiden without her noticing anyone sneaking up on her. However, she can recognize that voice anywhere. Did Odin finally decide to dump his pet? Loki. Rosweiss, battle-ready, turns around to face the Norse prankster god. Of all the beings she could have run into, this may be one of the worst. Even with her proficient skills in magic, a god still outclasses her in every way. Now, no need to show me that kind of face. Loki wags his right index finger left to right. Not here to start a fight. Just check in on what's all this ruckus in Norse territory. What's that stupid chief god doing? Allowing something like this? If I find whoever has the balls to start something in my lands. The prankster god is not too fond of outsiders and beings belonging to other mythologies. Most ancient deities are xenophobic towards each other in modern times. So far, I have found nothing. The Valkyrie, still tense from this encounter, must respect her superiors, even though he often badmouths her direct superior. Though she too ridicules Odin. Welp, carry on. Just so you know, it's going to be a cold night. Loki lustfully mocks her armor and leotard form-fitting on her curvaceous body. However, what he says is true. Even though it's not that late in the afternoon, the sun is already below the horizon since the Norse territory is so far north on the planet. Oh, and one last thing, find a boyfriend. Maybe then you'll have something else up your ass other than that stick? Wah. Flushing bright red, Rosweiss angrily burns with the desire to launch a barrage of destructive magic spells upon the impudent god. It's not her fault that she doesn't have a boyfriend. She's just too busy to care about that drama. Or so she tells herself. With that last insult, Loki takes his leave through a Norse teleportation magic circle. The lonely battle maiden, in the freezing cold, decides that she should return to Valhalla where hopefully Odin has returned. Suddenly, she hears rumbling from her stomach. She has been so caught up in this failed assignment that she has not eaten for a day. Realizing her location, Rosweiss sees that she's close to her home village. Though her parents and most of her extended family reside in Asgard, her grandmother remained in the human world and raised Rosweiss in the countryside. Knowing her grandmother, Gondel, the Valkyrie knows that her elder would be happy to feed her. Though Rosweiss will have to deal with more of her grandmother's nagging on her single lifestyle, it's better than going back to Odin. Utilizing Norse magic, she takes to the skies and heads over to a secluded fjord. The high cliffs on both sides a body of water and trees closer towards sea level, characteristic of this beautiful land, are covered with snow. Although the arable plots of land are unusable at this time of year, fishermen brave the turbulent seas to catch deep-sea creatures to sell internationally and for local sustenance during these cold months. Rosweiss arrives at her grandmother's isolated small cabin. However, the lights are on, which confuses the battle maiden. Normally, with the sun already set though it's only the afternoon, her grandmother would be watching over the fishermen as they endure the tough conditions. As a Valkyrie herself, Gondel waits for the opportunity for a fisherman to die, and if she deems the person worthy, she'll escort the individual to Valhalla for the coming of Ragnarok. Gondel is home. Her granddaughter knocks on the door. A few moments pass before she sees her grandmother's surprised, yet happy face. Sitting at the table are two unknown people, a blonde-haired teenager and a black-haired female child. Few days pass since Naruto escaped from the Chaos Brigade's base with their symbolic leader, the ultimate Dragonophis, and defeated the descendant of the previous Leviathan, Kaguya. This winter weather puts Naruto in even more dire straits. He set up camp and hunted down any game available out in this unknown wilderness. With just the thin clothes on his back, he endured the cold climate with sage mode. However, even he cannot stay in this state for so long. Sometimes, Naruto wishes that he knew other elements beside wind style. In his base form, Naruto cannot utilize the other elements without the tailed beasts. This fire before him, he started with wind chakra creating friction with rocks. The resulting sparks ignited a campfire which Naruto set up in an igloo-like structure made from snow. The days are too short, and the weather too cold. With freshly roasted rabbit and fish over the fire, Naruto shares his catch with the dragon god. Although stoic, Ophis accepts his food. Now what is Naruto going to do? He releases sage mode and revels in the fire's warmth. He's in a completely unknown world, cannot communicate fluently with the locals except for supernatural beings, has a terrorist organization on his tail, a dragon god to look after, cannot communicate with the tailed beasts inside him, and his entire home world trapped in a false dream. Also, that unidentified person, his intent felt like that of Orochimaru. If that were the case, Naruto was no longer safe while in enemy territory, another reason for him to escape. He hasn't felt this solitude since his early childhood when none of the public accepted his existence. The dragon god across from him. He just couldn't allow that organization toying with her desires in order to increase their strength via her snakes. Ophis is just lonely and wanted a friend. Naruto often listened to Valley and Ophis talk to one another when it was Vala's turn to watch over the dragon god and her supposed pet. The White Dragon Emperor, he's not as much as a pompous ass as Naruto assumed. There was a genuinely nice and caring man underneath his battle obsessions. For now, Naruto stretches his sore muscles. He's still not fully recovered. These eyes, the last gift from his transmigrated brother, drain a bit more chakra than Naruto prefers. No wonder the late squad leader of Team 7 wore his headband over his left eye. Right now, it'd be foolish to navigate in the dark, so it's best for him to sleep through the long night up north of the Arctic Circle. Deep in REM sleep, Naruto drops into his subconscious. Before him is the 8-trigram seal holding that massive energy back. "Y'all awake now?" A familiar voice called for him from behind. Yeah, well, a gigantic freaking dragon might have something to do with it. Naruto grins as he turns around and faces the dragon born of dreams and illusions, Great Red. "I see that you're speaking with that tone again. How did you get into my subconscious? Hear you still talking, like some mentally retarded Jap. Pretty cozy in here." The giant red dragon sarcastically remarks as it looks around at the sewer Naruto has for a subconscious. The tight corridors forces the monstrous beast to fold its wings and squat down. "I was born from dreams. Hey, if you can talk to me in my dreams, why didn't talk to me the past month?" Naruto asks the beast residing in the dimensional gap. "Something was blocking your location." Guessing was that Ophis, Great Red rationalizes. Ophis, the strongest of the top 10 beings in this world, is certainly capable of setting up a barrier with the Chaos Brigade's resources. Where all ya other beasts? Could have started a zoo with all them. I don't know. That last attack, we put everything we had into it, and Kaguya didn't die. I had to use the seal on her. I don't know. I can't go deeper into tailed beast consciousness. Maybe they're sleeping? Or maybe they're... Naruto's eyes look down to the lower right. Even though the 9-tailed beasts are enormous masses of chakra given life and shape, the blonde never thought it may have been possible to completely exhaust those reservoirs until the battle against the 10 tails began. When a shinobi completely exhausted all of his chakra, that ninja dies. Did the same happen to the tailed beasts? Right before they had a chance of freedom? Sleepin'? "I wasn't born from illusions and dreams for nothing," the red dragon smirks. "Dreams and illusions are its domain. If they're sleeping, I can enter those dreams." "Really? You can do that?" Naruto exclaims, while pointing his finger at the enormous beast of the apocalypse. "Yep. What you think I'm doing now?" Great Red mocks the blonde's denseness. Surely, a warrior of his level and battle prowess, Naruto can't be so thick-headed, right? "Yeah, that's true." Naruto crosses his arms. He can't remember a time when he entered his subconscious while asleep. Usually, he stands before this gate when he's unconscious or meditating. So, this dragon, not only insanely powerful, but can also connect people's dreams and memories. "Anyways, you can help me get back into tailed beast consciousness?" To which, the cramped dragon nods. The blonde shinobi, once again, hops onto dragon's horned, thick and scaly head, allowing the beast to delve deeper into his mind. Naruto feels them sinking into the floor of his sewer of a subconscious. Once through the first layer of his mind, eventually, they make way down to the part that once was connected to the tailed beasts. However, he finds no physical signs of his friends. The giant dragon nudges him to look down. Naruto sees the malformed and mangled bodies of the 9 beasts submerged beneath them. The tailed beast consciousness also does not feel right. Much like the chaotic energy Naruto locked away in the 8-trigram seal, more of those energies makes the entire water-like floor turbulent, much like a strong current in the ocean. Naruto can't bypass this layer separating him from his friends. "Looks like your rash decision to sync with the Great Red backfired." A new voice calls out to the duo. Naruto, turning around, sees the ultimate dragon deep and tailed beast conscious with him. She casts an unassuming glance at the enormous red dragon, but clear in her eyes is murderous intent. "Whoa, whoa!" Naruto steps in between the two to prevent a clash in his psyche. He doesn't need to be a vegetable so early in his life. Calm down. How did you get in here? Followed my path. Great red growls. Little bitch used her energy Ling Aaron and ya to follow. Okay. Don't get so worked up. So now, since the two of you are here, you guys have any idea what's happening? The blonde points down to the chaotic ocean of swirling crimson blood red and black purple energies. He thought that he had quarantined the energies, but so much excess still riddles his mind. I do not know. The ultimate dragon responds monotonously. This has never happened before. No being has ever encountered both the infinite and the dream. No being has ever contained the powers of the infinite and the dream. Yuri unpredictable, that's for sure. The DXD, Dragon of Dragons, ironically agrees on one point with his counterpart. I believe you have to separate the infinite from the dream to revive your pets. Ophis delivers her opinion on this issue. As the energies are now, I cannot extract my power from the dream because doing so shall throw the balance off and may kill you. 100% sync in with me brought not only your life force to almost zero, but also theirs. They're hanging on by clinging to your life force. Great Red explains further the situation. The Uzumaki clan and the transmigration of Ashura, Naruto's heritage has given him possibly the largest life force in the ninja world. Naruto solemnly looks down to the writhing mass of differing animal body parts. Yes, Kaguya was sealed, but at what cost? Okay, then how do I split your powers? I mean, this has never happened before, right? Naruto asks once more to confirm Ophis's statement. They both nod. Sighing, Naruto scratches the back of his head. However, his training has almost always led to some deadly consequences, i.e. Jiraiya pushing him off a cliff, Raisin Shuriken's double-edged sword, Sage Art's Toad transformation, and fighting Kurama. Oh, a visitor? Ophis looks up at the emptiness of the realm of tailed beast consciousness. Shit, Naruto swears. He was too deep in his mind to sense potential danger while he's sleeping. The conversation comes to an abrupt end as Naruto wakes up. Eyes wide open, Naruto, faster than a blink of an eye, reflexively gets behind whomever this interloper may be. Though, this person, female, feels elderly as the blonde restrains her hands behind her back. Even if he's not utilizing chakra mode, Naruto got the basics of sensing not just chakra, but also hatred and negative emotions. He senses none in this person and releases his hold on her. Ophis, eyes closed and lying on the ground with her arms across her chest like a mummy, and he had been so deep in his mind that they, maybe just him, did not sense her entering through the igloo's small entrance and approach his sleeping form. The newcomer wore a plain blue, full body cloak over her lithe frame. She begins speaking in an unfamiliar tongue. Great, as per usual, everyone in this world talks in a different language. Naruto decides to enunciate a few words that Vala's group understood. Surprise across her face, the elderly lady opens her mouth again. How strange. It's not often I find a Japanese-speaking young man out here in the wilderness, but your accent is quite unusual. Nothing I've ever heard before. My name's Gondol. The older woman introduces herself in the familiar Japanese Naruto's accustomed to. One day, Naruto will have to figure out what exactly is this Japanese, and why it's so similar to his native language. Nice to meet you, I guess. Sorry about that. Naruto points out the bruises on her wrists where he held her. Self-defense, it's all right. It's my fault for soliciting, she apologizes by bowing, customary to his tradition strangely, or is it Japanese customs? Pardon my question, but why are you out here? It's dangerous in this weather. Well, Naruto looks left, right, and then down. He realizes that he's still in hospital garments. Not only that, but Ophis wakes up as well. Maybe she was awake, but Naruto can never tell what goes on in her head. Also, blonde hair and black hair, Ophis and he bear no resemblance, and she has a child's body wearing such revealing clothing. Part of Naruto, right now, wants to knock her out now and run away. Yes? Gondol questions in a stern tone. To her, this situation is incredibly suspicious. A pedophile and his victim. Wait, I can explain. Naruto waves both his hands in front of him while Gondol, seems to be building magical formulas. This is not the time and place to start another conflict. Suddenly, a huge pressure drops down upon the opposing pair. Gondal immediately pauses as the stiff atmosphere makes it difficult to move her appendage. What's going on? What are you? Gondal asks the seemingly little girl who's much more than meets the eye. Hey. Naruto places his hand on the upright dragon god. Easy, it's just a misunderstanding. She would have caused problems. I would have eliminated her, Ophis monotonously states without any emotion. The dragon god sure has a one-track mind. Phew, now that's over. Hey, lady, I'm sorry for everything so far. I can tell you don't mean any harm. We're refugees, sort of. Naruto replies with an incomplete truth, but tries to answer as much as he can. You're human, but she's… Gondal shifts her gaze from Naruto to the little girl. They are too far up north from the wars going on in the Middle East at the moment, and too far west from the civil war in Ukraine. Also, this young man only speaks a corrupted form of Japanese, but they're nowhere near the Pacific Ocean. Things do not add up. Are you perhaps familiar with magic? The aged mage questions the blonde. Sort of. I know it exists, but I can't perform it, Naruto answers truthfully. Do you know anything about stray magicians? Gondal pries further. Recently, there has been missing stray mages from this region of Norse territory. The Magician Council usually tries to keep tabs on them, but for so many to disappear in a short amount of time. Plus, even though Naruto is not a mage, the little girl holds some kind of power. Extraordinary power, the old Valkyrie senses. Naruto remains silent to her question. In some ways, he's affiliated with the Secret of Cows Brigade. If he blabs now, he'll put the former puppet leader in danger. Damn it, he may actually have to knock her out and flee with Ophis again. Okay, see, when I said we're refugees, I really do mean it, and if I say any more, she'll be put in even more danger. The shinobi explains the situation a bit further without revealing everything. He hopes to defuse the situation. I can see that you have no intent of fully answering me, but I also don't sense any hostility from you. Gondal also retracts her magic. Without realizing what had happened, Naruto's makeshift shelter of snow was destroyed. Cold air chafes against Naruto's thin garments, and without Sage Mode active, he curls up to preserve warmth. I'm sorry for causing so much trouble. Quickly follow me. My place is not too far from here. Gondal forms a Norse transportation magic circle underneath her feet. Naruto and Ophis step onto the circle, and in a few moments, disappear from the sight. At the destination, a magic circle opens up, and the three arrive at what appears to be a small, antiquated log cabin with the living space, open kitchen, and stairs leading upstairs. A quick glance out the window, Naruto sees the dark night and menacing shadows of tree branches. A cozy fireplace warms up the small abode. Gondal pulls back her hood and reveals her aged features, pale silvery hair, and a wisdom beyond even her appearance. She stares at Naruto's face for a bit. His facial characteristics greatly stick out like a sore thumb. Are you a yokai? Those eyes, nothing like I've ever seen in my life. Now in the light, the elderly Valkyrie can see more clearly. Gondal approaches his face to get a better look at the ripple pattern in Naruto's left eye, blood red in the right, and tomo patterns in both eyes. It's a long story, but I'm not a yokai. I'm human, more or less. Naruto curses his unfamiliarity with these eyes. Kakashi also had difficulty controlling the Sharingan and always seemed to be in an active state unless he pulled his headband over the left eye. Gondal is another who asked if Naruto were a yokai. Kuroka also had animalistic features, namely the cat-like eyes and ears. And she? Gondal points out Naruto's companion. I'm aware she's not human. Her aura reminds me of a dragon, one of the top magic practitioners even to this day. Gondal, possessing adept skills in rune style, fairy magic Gandal style, and spiritual magic Sei style, can distinguish various types of energies. You figured that much out. You're pretty good, Naruto compliments with a big smile on his face. That's up to her to decide. I'm sorry for evading your questions like this, but saying any more will put her in more danger. Naruto apologizes and bows before the Valkyrie. Your words and actions seem authentic. Your body looks a bit emaciated. Come, I will prepare something to eat. Gondal offers her hospitality to the alien shinobi and dragon god. She seats them at a table in the kitchen. Suddenly there's a knock at the door. Surprised, Gondal excuses herself and answers the front door. Naruto leans towards the side to get a better look at the visitor. She appears to be a young woman, possibly around his age, with silver hair like Gondal. Granddaughter, maybe? And what's up with the weird outfit? Quickly, Naruto performs a transformation jutsu to conceal his eyes and facial marks. Granny! The teen hugs Gondal, confirmed to be the granddaughter. The younger woman looks over her grandmother's shoulder and sees two unknown guests. How are you? I'm well, Rose. Gondal happily greets her descendant with her nickname. What brings you out to this area? Is that Odin giving you trouble again? The older Valkyrie sternly questions the younger Valkyrie. The chief god seriously needs to stop goofing off. Yeah, though he always does. I'm actually on a mission, but I rather not talk about it with. Rosweiss eyes her grandmother's visitors. Gondal nods. Since I was in the area, I wanted to visit you, Granny. You work too hard. Keep it up and you'll get wrinkles. Then, no guy will want. Gondal rambles on about Rosweiss' main fault. The young Valkyrie was ready for the ridicule, but her grandmother's words still stabs her deeply. The silver-haired teen slumps over in a corner with a dark, depressing aura over her head. Is she okay? Naruto voices his concern as the granddaughter seemingly teleported to the corner to grieve over her life decisions. That's just how she is. Already her age, and never once in a relationship, Gondal shakes her head. Teenagers her age should experience romantic love before becoming young adults, and Rosweiss is only 1 year away from being considered an adult. Though, part of reason why Rose is this way is because of her inability to inherit the family magical crest. Even though Rosweiss knows how proud Gondal is for her, that trauma still lingers to this day. Rose, come sit with my guests. I'm going to prepare a meal for us. Gondal prods her granddaughter out of her corner to the dining table. Of course, she notices that Naruto disguised his most prominent features, but with her granddaughter in the same room, Gondal does not want to start an argument. The young lady sits at the table and examines the two newcomers. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Rosweiss. The young Valkyrie cordially greets and extends her hand. Nice to meet ya. Name's Naruto Uzumaki. To the blonde's surprise, Rosweiss speaks Japanese as well. She must have heard her grandmother talking in Japanese to him. He accepts her salutations. To Naruto's chagrin, he just realizes that he never formally introduced himself to Gondal, but they got off on the wrong foot. He'll apologize when food arrives. And who might you be? Rose questions the quiet, little girl before realizing the attire the dragon god is wearing. What a lewd outfit with almost her whole torso exposed except for X-shaped black tape on her nipples. Granny, what's going on? Oh dear, wait a moment. Gondal intervenes before her granddaughter blows a gasket regarding lewd situations. Rose, these people claim to be refugees. I have questioned them about their choice of clothing, but they haven't given me a straight answer as of yet. The old and young Valkyries glare at Naruto. The blonde ninja sheepishly rubs the back of his head. Seriously, who designed Ophus's outfit? Well, if Granny can tolerate you too, then I shall too, Rosweiss sighs. But things are not adding up. All of Gondal's earlier suspicions, her granddaughter thinks of them as well. Maybe he has a connection to her mission and the stray mages? Gondal quickly whips up leftover meat and fish from the refrigerator and some pickled vegetables on the side. To complement the main dish, she adds cream sauce and lingonberry jam. She not expected extra mouths at the table, so this is what's available to feed everyone. In winter, the very small areas of arable farmlands are covered in snow. The main sources of food are game hunting and fishing. The vegetables and fruit have been prepared and stored for the winter months. Thanking the elderly Valkyrie for the meal, Naruto and Ophus graciously eat, but remain silent at the table while Rosweiss and Gondal happily converse with one another. Naruto can tell they are extremely close and wants to join in on the fun. However, he keeps his mouth shut. Otherwise, he may inadvertently spurt out unnecessary information. Though Naruto has learned a few things about Norse culture and mythology from listening to their conversation. 1. Odin is their chief god. 2. Odin is as much of a pervert as Jiraiya was. And 3. Valkyries follow heroes and lead them to Valhalla for the coming of Ragnarok. Ophis mentioned these before, but to confirm the info from actual Valkyries is another deal. Gondal sensed a hero in the wilderness and stumbled upon Naruto's shelter. After the jovial talk and scrumptious meal, Rosweiss and Gondal go upstairs and leave Naruto and Ophis in the kitchen. Naruto offered to clean up the dishes after dinner. Ophis, as usual, just silently observes the events playing out before her. While the two are gone, the blonde ninja activates Sage Mode to feel shifts in energy coming from the upper floor and increase his range of hearing. He knows they are suspicious and eavesdrops on Rosweiss explaining her mission. She investigated the battleground where Naruto had fought Kaguya Leviathan and now suspects Naruto's involvement. The two Valkyries also discuss Naruto's potential link to the increasing number of missing magicians. Of course, Naruto knows of the mage army the Chaos Brigade is accumulating. Should he reveal the information he knows? Gondal seems nice enough, but when information gets out, there may be a chance of a leak. That may lead the Chaos Brigade back to Ophis. Naruto, still doing dishes? Gondal steps down the stairs along with her granddaughter. Huh? Oh, sorry. Just got a lot of stuff on my mind. Naruto, while his back facing towards the two, releases Sage Mode. I'm also sorry about not introducing myself. That's all right. You have your reasons. While we'll be wary of you, you don't seem like a bad person. Just lost. The elderly woman smiles understandingly. Naruto bows in gratitude for her forgiving attitude. We also found some of my old clothes from when I was younger. Sorry, but we don't have men's clothing. Hopefully this little lady won't have to wear such inappropriate clothing any further. Rosweiss carries with her some small, old €1, approximately 130 yen, jerseys and sweatpants. The young Valkyrie tugs on Ophis before the dragon god allows herself to be led upstairs to change. Thanks again for everything, Naruto says once more after Rosweiss and Ophis leave. I really hate keeping secrets from you. You're a kind child, but your personality belies your emotional state. Your eyes, they hold much exhaustion and pain. Even with a transformation technique disguising Naruto's true eyes, Gondal can perceive Naruto's mental state through the eyes. Living as long as her, she has seen many emotions in the eyes of the heroes whom she has led to Valhalla. Naruto, uncharacteristically, remains silent. Many things weigh on his heart. He has been through many ordeals, but this one seems the greatest of them all. Tomorrow, Rose will bring you into town to find some clothing your size. I assume you lack money, given your proclaimed refugee status. Therefore, you'll have to pay me back eventually. Gondal provides a conditioned offer. Maybe she's trying to get on his good side and get him to spill some information? You've been too nice to me. I can't just take your money. Naruto's conscience speaks against her goodwill. Nonsense. Besides, my granddaughter Rose needs to stop working once in a while. Gondal waves off Naruto's indecision. What? Rosweiss arrives with a newly clothed Ophis just in time to hear her grandmother's outrageous proposal. Granny, what are you saying? I have to report back to Odin tomorrow. I can't just take a day off. Oh, relax. You haven't taken a day off in who knows how long. You don't look at any of those young male heroes at all. At this rate, how are you supposed to get a boyfriend? I'll be sure that Odin gets his just desserts. Just think of this as practice. One day, you'll find a man befitting you. Also, Granny knows exactly what button to push. The dark, depressing cloud returns to hang over Rosweiss once more. Gondal walks up to Rose and places a hand on her shoulder. A serious look writes across Rosweiss's face as Granny whispers something into her ear. Naruto's eyes narrow. With his keen hearing, he guesses that Granny is keeping at least one Valkyrie close to him at all times under the guise of a shopping trip. However, he needs resources like money and clothing. Okay, Granny, you win, Rosweiss sighs. She just can't win sometimes. However, I get to manage how much money is spent. Yes, you and your stingy attitude. Honestly, Gondal chuckles. I've already set up the spare mattresses. They're not the best, but they beat sleeping on the floor. Thank you, Naruto begrudgingly thanks her this time. He knows that they are keeping him close by to watch his movements and actions. Ophis and the blonde follow the two Valkyries to their sleeping arrangements. Naruto can't ask for much more. Dinner and a bed to sleep in feels as close to home as he can get. Home? How's that going to work out? What's Hagamoro doing? Has his chakra run out and returned to the pure world? What about the divine tree? Will his friends, fellow shinobi, and denizens of his world transform into white zetsus before he finds some way to get back to them? The tailed beasts. Naruto was entrusted to take care of them, yet they devolved into that mass of unstable chakra. How's he supposed to split the infinite from the dream? More and more questions weigh down his mind while he attempts to sleep. One question in particular tugs at his heart greatly. Hey Ophis, when I used my abilities, I sensed much hatred around the world, even greater than that of my home. What's going on? Why is there so much pain here as well? Naruto solemnly questions the dragon god who has spent much time amongst humans of this realm. For as long as I've lived, not just the mythological factions, but also humans have waged war and stirred up conflict for personal gain. That gain can come in the form of resources, land, ideology, or whatever reasons human beings imagine. No matter what beliefs humans conjure for their origins, they are mere animals upon which the driving force of evolution selected for greater cognitive capacity. After dominating the lands, humans continued to fight amongst themselves to survive. They steal from each other, inflict pain upon one another, and instill hatred amongst fellows. As time moved on, so did human capacity for destruction. Now, humans are capable of matching some gods on scales of devastation. As long as there is a need to survive and the will to take whatever necessary to live, humans will continue to wage war. 2 world wars resulted from this, and maybe on the brink of a third. Their spiritual leaders, the religious factions, are no better. They preach hypocrisy. Religious factions teach humans to be peaceful to one another, yet wage war against other factions. They use humans as sacrificial lambs to maintain their dominance against opposing religions. Humans, in turn, use their conjured religious beliefs to substantiate their heinous acts against one another. That's how the world operates. It's a vicious cycle of hatred in which the winners will take from the losers, and the losers are forgotten as time moves on. The disguised dragon lays down a brief history of mankind, one wrought with conflict and much hatred. You use so many complicated words, but if I understand a bit, it's the same here as well? Naruto, lying on the adjacent mattress, stares up at the ceiling. Hagamoro tried to instill his belief of peace on the people of Naruto's world. However, this world desires Kaguya's truth over Hagamoro's ideal. Naruto understands Madara's ideal, misguided as he was. Hashirama and Madara both desired peace. What would they say if they see this world? How people commit the exact same atrocities as in the shinobi world? What do you think? Do you believe that, one day, people will understand each other? Naruto asks the dragon god about Jiraiya's ideal, naive as it may be. I do not know. I have lived amongst humans for thousands of years. They remain the same. However, you, a human, are different. You seek balance between the infinite and the dream, 2 forces that have never come into contact until now. In you, I see a different future, one which even I cannot predict. Ophis, much like before, continues to observe this strange alien whom she met just over a month ago. For now, her relationship with Great Red is tremulous at best, but if this child keeps his promise, there may be a way to compromise the ideals between the infinite and the dream. Heh, you sure like to talk all mysterious, but thank you. That was a real eye-opener, and also uplifting, somewhat. Naruto grins widely. Even the bland lowly girl can say meaningful words. Releasing his transformation, disguising his facial marks and eyes, the blonde shinobi then decides to sleep on a higher note than rather a depressing one. While dreaming, his own words replay from his memories. If I stop believing just because things get difficult, if the hero in this book were to change who he is, then it'll become a whole different story. It sure wouldn't be the story our master left behind, and it wouldn't be about Naruto. The thing is, I can't write books like our master did, and so any sequel has to come the life I live. That's why no matter how much pain my own path brings, I'll keep walking because that's who Naruto is. /N. Thanks to my beta reader, Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer, for checking continuity, correcting and revising the rough draft, and giving me the green light. By now, the third anime season, Born, has debuted. I don't mind that the development team reworked some events from the light novel source because fitting about 2-3 volumes into 12 episodes is not feasible. Again, thank you to those who have read and reviewed this story. You may send PMs if you want to send constructive criticisms. Also, of those who read this story, are any knowledgeable on the political structure and cultural practices of Sweden? Anyone familiar, or are Swedes? I would like help in writing the next chapter. Thank you.